Hello guys, so welcome back to another video. So I'm going to show you how to make like two videos in under in very few hours. So the first one I'm going to make is known as a job portal, and then the next one is going to be known as a git review web app. So the first one, job portal, is going to allow you to first of all use Next.js to build all of them. Then in job portal also you're going to learn how to use Express. Also for the backend, you're going to be using Node.js. In regards to authentication, you're going to be using Clerk authentication. In the job portal, you're going to be using Adzuna API key. So as a git review web app. So this one you're going to learn is how to use Next.js, and then you're going to learn how to use like the GitHub API key. And also another important thing that you're going to learn is about writing clean code and file structure, which are very important in regards to Next.js. So also you're going to learn how to deploy your Next.js application, and also among others. Also, please let's not forget that you are still doing the fundraising for the girls school, for the Text Girls School. So I'm going to put the link in the description below, and you can be able to fundraise as possible. So please let's support, and then it's going to be really helpful for these girls. So we are still doing the fundraising for those people who saw my last video. I told you guys like that. So I'm going to put a very brief description of what you are fundraising for. Then I'm going to put the link in the description. Please support us, and then it's going to be really grateful for that. So thank you guys. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with me, Brian. So welcome back to Coding with Brian. So this is what you're going to make today. It's going to be a very quick video, one of the quickest videos I've ever made, and it's just a GitHub year review. As you all know that right now 2025 is coming to an end, and it's really a good thing for you as a developer to keep yourself up to date on what you've been able to do like throughout the year. Okay, so here this is what you're going to do. So here we have a place for GitHub username. You just put your GitHub username there, and then it's going to generate now for you now your GitHub it's going to generate now your GitHub review. Okay, I think you've been able to see like something like this. If you've been in this industry for a while, I think you've been able to see something like this, whereby it generates for you like the year review of what you've been able to do, your activity on GitHub. Yeah, so but for us, it's going to generate now the activity based on public repositories, but not based on private repositories. Okay, so when you include your username like that, just press your generate review, wait some few seconds, and then it's going to generate it for you. Few seconds. Yeah, and please, if you have not subscribed, make sure at least subscribe to our channel, because those subscription and likes helps to keep us making more of these videos. Okay, so please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Okay, thank you so much. Please make sure to do so. So after I've done that, this is what you'll be able to see. Now you're going to see now the particular, you're going to give you now the particular username, the person's username, then GitHub review. Then it's going to show you now the total commits that the person did throughout the year. But remember, like all this information or data is based on public repositories. That means like if there is a private repository, it does not access it. Okay, so that is 58 commits. You can see here you have the repositories. That means you created like throughout the year you created that repositories, and you've been able to get like 204 stars. Okay. And then you have pull requests, which was 6 pull requests, and then issues you created, it was 0. Then active projects, we have active projects at 27. Okay, that means now out of 30 repositories that you made, only 27 are active. That means now the rest, the 3 ones are inactive. Okay, the ones that you made this year. Okay. And then when you come here, you can be able to see now the most active day. Gives you now the most active day. Here it says it's Sunday. And then here you can see now the most active month is proposed to be January or July, sorry, supposed to be July. Okay, and then even if you come to this part of the contribution activity, you can see here now your contribution activity throughout the year, and yeah, you can see it here. And if you want to also get more of it, you can just be able to see it here. You can see it like this. And then you can be able to also change the color of the contribution activity. If you want it to be just black, then you can see, so it's black. And then if you want it to be like another color, let's say maybe red, you can be able to change it appropriately based on what you want. Okay, but for me, I'm going to change it to be yellow. Yeah, like that. Yeah, so can you be able to change it appropriately based on you. Okay, and then here it tells you like your particular, how the particular languages, and then it gives you in regards to percentages of what you've been able now to do, like yeah. So you can see here, as per me, like that is the most dominant language. For those of you who don't know, that is just a programming language used to make like mobile and web app for Flutter applications, and it's used mostly for the backend part. Okay, so here you can see that is 69%, and then we have these other ones, that's 69%. Then you have another one here, JavaScript. You have this JavaScript. Then you have others here, which is HTML, CSS, and then you have TypeScript, then PHP, C++, and then CMake, and then yeah. So you can see like these are all of it. So, and they have now the particular colors. Okay, so from C to CMake to CSS to Dart, HTML to TypeScript, Swift, etc. Okay, yeah. So this is what your review is going to look like, and then yeah, and then you can be able to download it. But right now I've not made this download button to function. Okay, so your assignment is going to be to make this download button to function. Yeah, I've added for you like a little bit of something, and then you're going to just need to add like 1 or 2 lines of code, and then it's going to be able to function. Okay, yeah. So from this point also, in regards to responsiveness, it's fully responsive. Let me show you here. 1 second. Okay, I want us to view it in different. So if you come here, let's view it as iPhone 14 Pro Max. Okay, you can see it in iPhone 14 Pro Max. This is how it looks like, which is not bad. Yeah, iPhone 14 Pro Max, that's how it looks like, which is not bad. Then if you come to, let's go to tablet. Where is it? That is iPad Air. You can see on tablet mode it looks okay. Also, this is how it looks on tablet mode. Okay, yeah. So yeah, and then that's on tablet, and then on Galaxy Z Fold. This is how it looks like. On Galaxy Z Fold, it's not really responsive so much in Galaxy Z Fold, but it's somehow responsive somehow. Then now we have the last part. Just think like that. Okay, so it's fully responsive on almost all devices, but your assignment is you can try to make it to be like responsive 100% on all devices, then make this button to work. Okay, so that's how it is. Yeah, and if you want to generate maybe another one of the review, you can just press that, then it will take you to this place again. You again put your username and then press generate, and then wait some few seconds, then it's going to generate it for you. Okay, so that's it. What we're going to make today is going to be a very quick tutorial, and then I'm going to put now the link to the deployment down below, So make sure to check it out. Make sure to give the repository a like, and please make sure at least to leave a like for this video, and yeah, and also share it to any person or any group or anyone who you think you might get usefulness from it. Yeah, and just like it and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, and yeah, and also as the 2025 is coming to an end, I would like to wish you guys a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and let's see each other in the next until 2026. Okay, so I'm going to so this is going to be one of the last videos for 2025. Apart from this, I'm going to just make a combination of all the interesting videos we've done in 2025. Then I'm going to post it before the year ends. Yeah, so yeah, so in case of anything, I think you guys know where to find me. You can find me on the socials, on LinkedIn and all the socials. I'm going to put the link there down below, and in case of anything, just make sure to reach out. And also another thing is I'm going to put a link for a sponsorship kind of for a support kind of link in the description. So the link, what you're going to do is we are going to help a particular community here where I live. We're going to be helping them to be able to get funds for building a technology kind of school. Yeah, so we are making some contributions, and I'm going to put the link for the contribution link there down below. Okay, if I forget, please make someone to remind me on the comments, but I'm going to put the link for there. Yeah, so we are let me show you about it. So we are building we are helping them to be able now to the particular URL I was telling you about. I'm going to put the URL down there below, and then when you press it, when you input that URL, are going to be taken to, let me show you. When you put that URL, going to be shown something like this. So you can see building a girls tech school, and yeah. So what you are doing right now is we are fundraising for us to be able now to build a school, for us to build a tech school in Kenya. And yeah, so the reason as to why you are fundraising is because remember in Africa, remember there are many girls who usually become young mothers, and you'll find that many of them are coming from very unfortunate families. That means their families are not very well off, and hence they usually live in poverty. So the aim of this school is we are going to be teaching them particular tech skills, and to be able now to help them to be able to get online job opportunities out there, and to be able now to benefit them and their families. Yeah, so please help us now by fundraising. You can fundraise in any amount you have. If it's $1, 50 cents, if it's $20, $500, any amount that you think will be really useful, because even that $5 is going to be really useful in helping these girls to be able to learn these skills, and it's going to keep us it's going to give us now the it's going to help us to be able now to be able to get the maximum amount to be able to study. Okay, so when you come here, right now we have only one supporter, and we've been able to raise only 20. So remember the amount is in Kenyan shillings, because yeah, it's in Kenyan shillings. Okay, yeah, so that's how it is. And yeah, so also you can, when you're here, you can be able to read now the description of what the funds will be used for, and in regards to everything about the course. Yeah, so when you're here, you can be able to read everything and see if it's per what you want, or per what you think is really or what you can be able to offer. Yeah, just help these girls be able to at least be able to learn the tech skills, and be able to also help their families. Okay, Yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, so when you come here, you can be able to read everything about it. And in regards to donating, you can just come here, or if you're in Kenya or Eastern Africa, you can just donate via M-Pesa. Just you can come here and then you can press here the amount. If you want 500, or if you want to do 200, you can just press that and then press the donate now. Or you can be able also to edit there any that you want. Even still, you can be able to do it here and then press the donate now, and then you're going to be able to be prompted to donate. Or still the same, you can come also, you can use Airtel. You can use Airtel and be able to do that. If you are in Nigeria, like Ghana, etc., you can be able to do that. Or if you are, or Equitel, if you are in Eastern Africa or in UK, you can be able to do that. And if you are like in other countries like maybe US, India, Pakistan, etc., South Africa, you can be able to download. You can be able to donate using like Visa. You can just enter the amount that you want. But remember the amount here in Kenyan shillings. Okay, that means roughly right now $1 equals $1 equals 130 Kenyan shillings. So you can include something like maybe, I don't know, something like 500 that is Kenyan shillings equal to around $3.50, around $3.50, yeah, something like that. But remember the amount is in Kenyan shillings. Okay, so you can just include now the amount and then be able now to press the donate and be able to donate. You can either use Visa or PayPal if you are from or PayPal. Okay, and the best thing about using PayPal is you can be able to pay using USD directly instead of using Kenyan shillings if it's complicated. You can just come here to the PayPal, then press if you want to donate 50 or 200 or 500 appropriately, and then press the PayPal, and then PayPal will be able to prompt you to donate accordingly. Okay, yeah, please help us so that we can be able to help these girls to be able to learn the particular skills. Yeah, because like remember, if you help us like in regards to raising any amount, it's going to help them a lot, and also to be able to improve their families in future. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put the link in the description below, and remember, like any amount matters. There is no little or big cash. You can just put any amount, and then I'm going to be really grateful for that. Thanks so much. And if you have any comments, you can be able to put also your comments there. You can be able also to put your comments there appropriately. Okay, so thank you so much, and yeah, please help us to fundraise, and I'm going to be really grateful for that. Thank you so much. Because also remember, like one of our main aim is just to be able to make tech as global as possible. You can fundraise, like if you're in Kenya, you can fundraise that 10 shillings, 20 shillings that you want, or even 50 shillings or 100 or 1000 that you have. If you're in Nigeria, like any amount that you want, or even in just help us to be able to help these girls, in the rural sector. Okay, yeah, also you can be able also to comment here appropriately, and yeah, thank you so much guys, and please let's do so, and also share it with anyone who you think might get useful in regards to this, in regards to helping us, and yeah, also share the video. Thank you so much. Okay, so back to the video. Let's start our project. You need to be able now to install now Next.js. Just write Next.js documentation, then come to this part, this first one. Then here you're going to see now the documentation of everything, and then you're going to come to this place of installation. Here on installation, you're going to get everything. So we're going to see, like for you to create a new React app, just create now a new React app. Just what you'll do is let me show you first. For us, you're going to come to npm. Okay, because you're using npm. Okay, So make sure if you're using yarn, just come to yarn, okay, or if you're using ban. So I'm using npm because I'm using node, and so come sorry, and then copy that, and then you're going to paste that in your terminal, okay. So and then after you've been able now to create now the particular project, do cd my app, then going to go to that directory my app, okay. Then now for you to be able now to run it, do npm run dev, okay. That was just a very quick overview of the documentation about to start Next.js for those people who are new to this. Good. Okay, so what you're going to do is, first of all, like, you need to make sure that you've been able to install, like, you've been able like to create a new Next.js project. And then after doing that, I'm not going to show you how. Just search Next.js and then go to the documentation and then follow the procedure of how to install it. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you is, again, come now to the particular, after having created now the particular Next.js project, yeah, now come to that particular folder, okay, as you see what you have done here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to install these dependencies. So we're going to just install all of them at once. So do npm install. Then we're going to start by installing, that is HTML, HTML2, HTML2 canvas. So HTML2 canvas, its main aim is in regards to downloading now the particular review. And then we're going to do this JS PDF. So the aim of these two is, first of all, like, JS PDF is just enabling us to be able to download now that particular review as PDF. And then HTML2 canvas, its main aim is just to be able now to download the exact thing that we are saying there, because without it, then like, it's not going to, that PDF is not going to appear like as per what we are saying. Yeah, it's not going to have colors etc. But its main aim is just to ensure like it has everything as per that. Okay. Then again, another thing we're going to install is Lucid React. React. So Lucid React is going to assist us in regards to icons. So yeah, those are the things we're going to install. And then the last thing I want us to install is something known as the recharts. Okay, so like that. Okay, so these are the things we are going to install, and I think I've been able to tell you, like, there are main to install now the particular dependencies. Okay, so the dependencies are done. So I want us to now look at the next section. I want us now to start coding. Okay, so those are all the dependencies that are going to be. Now let me show you how to get the GitHub key. So on GitHub, right now I'm on github.com. If you don't have an account, create an account. So come here, and then you're going to go to the settings part. You're going to come to this part of the settings. Where is it? Here it is. And then in this part of the settings, I want you to come to this place where we have this developer settings. Okay, then press that part of the developer settings, and then we are going to see two things. You're going to see this part showing the auth apps, then you're going to see this other one for personal access tokens. So press that personal access tokens, then you're going to see some two navigation, which is fine-grained tokens and the tokens classic. Now let me explain to you, like, the meaning of these tokens. So these tokens, if you take any of them and use it for what you are doing right now, they are going to work. Okay, but for us, you're going to take the fine-grained token, because this one is more secure. This one is more secure as per the current standard. Yeah, it's more secure, but as compared to this one. Okay, because example, in this tokens classic, if you lose your token, like with this one for classic, then like someone can be able out, if someone is a hacker, they can be able out to do some malicious things on your GitHub, like maybe deleting repositories, etc. So first you're going to take these fine grained tokens because it's more safer. And then what we're going to do, like you're going to see a button here telling you to generate a token, but for me you can see like I already have another token running. So if you have another token, just press the create new token, but if you don't have, you're going to see something that telling you to press to be able to generate now the particular token. So let me show you. So press that. For me, I'm pressing that one. Let me fill the information first. Think that you're going to see something like this. So it's going to tell you to write the token name. You can just write maybe YouTube, I don't know, code review or something like that. Just give it whichever name you want. So like remember, the part of the token is the one that is compulsory, and then you can give it a more description of what you are going to use it, but that one is not compulsory, so you can skip it if you want. And also because part of the repository access, you can put it in this two way, either to be public repository, only to read public repository, or you can put it to be able to read all repository, okay, or you can put it only to select repository, okay. But first you're going to say the public repository, but also you can put it as all repository. So the issue with the select public repository is it's going to show the developer or someone who inputs now their username. It's going to only show them what review in regards to the public repository that they did, okay, but it's not going to deal in regards to private repository. Now that's the issue with that, okay. So you can just select a repository or public, just up to you. Let me select all or public, okay. Let me just select all, okay, but I'll really advise you to select like public, okay. Then after doing that, you can now add permissions if you want. If you want to add more permissions, card. But for what you're going to do is very simple, so doesn't need permission. And then generate token. Then after doing that, okay, let me see. 1 second. Now here is a token. Okay, just copy it, and then you can be able to use it perfectly. Okay, so we are through with that part of generating token. I want you to show you how, and then you can come to, let me show you one thing here. Then come here and then paste it accordingly. Okay, like that, and then yeah, we are through with that. Okay, so after you've been able to now to make the particular default like the particular default logs for Next.js, what I want you to do after you've been able to run, after you've been able to do npm run dev, so I want you to make a file known as a simple file, but don't give it any extension. Just name it as file structure. And then in this file structure, this is how our files. This is how we are going to arrange now our file. How we are going to make our simple web app. Okay. So as you can see here, we have now the particular folder for GitHub review. And then inside, like remember, we are using for Next.js. We are using now the default app, the default setting for making Next.js. So when you're choosing how to make the Next.js, make sure to choose the default setting. So the default setting, that means that the layout and the page, they are inside the app, and the app is inside the src. Okay. So what you're going to do is, after you've done that, I want you to in that folder GitHub review, I want you to create also a file known as, okay, this file known as src already exists. Okay, now also you have now inside it you have this folder, this folder known as apps. Okay, sorry, yeah, this folder known as src. Then also inside it you have this folder known as app. Okay, now inside this folder known as app, like right now, you already have a file known as layout, and another known as page, and another one known as global.css. Okay, now aren't you still in the same folder? I want you to create now another folder known as components. Okay, now create another folder known as components, and inside it you're going to create now these files. There are how many? One, two. We're going to create now these six files. These six files inside the folder components. Okay, so the first file we're going to create is known as the username form.tsx. Then the next file is going to be known as statscard.tsx. Then the next one is going to be known as the dashboard.tsx. And then you have the loading spinner.tsx, and then contribution grid.tsx, and then lastly language chat.tsx. Okay, now let me explain to you like the simple uses of these components. First of all, let me start first of all with the dashboard. So this dashboard is the one that is going to contain everything. Like is one that is going to be showing like everything in regards to your review. Okay, and in regard to the username, so the username is just going to contain now the front end part, whereby you'll be able to put your username, etc. So it's going to contain all those parts, and then stats card is going to contain now your statistics of like the commits you've done, like the if in case maybe there is any issue that was raised, or maybe like how many stars you've gotten, etc. So that's what's going to be contained in this stats card. Okay, and then in the loading spinner is going to contain like after you've been able now to include now your particular details of the username in the username form part in that input. So when you press the word the part of getting your review, then you're going to see a spinning happening. So that's going to be the work of the loading spinner. Okay, and then in regards to the part of the contribution grid, so contribution grid is going to contain like that rectangular kind of looking thing that is going to show you like how you've been able to contributed throughout the particular year. And yeah, so it's going to show you like how you've been able to like what you've done throughout the year. And yeah, is the part where like you're able to change the particular colors etc. Okay, so and also this part of the languages, so part of the languages is this part of the languages going to show you like all the languages that the person has been able to do. Okay, yeah, so that's how it is. And then you have now the part of the libraries. So in this part of the libraries are going to contain like two things. So it's going to contain the GitHub github.ts, and then the helpers.ts. Okay, yeah, so that's it. So make sure to like make these files so that you can start. So this is how I've made them. I want you to look at it. Okay, let me show you. So you can see here how it is. And then now inside this app folder, we have that components that I've made, and then you can see like I have these files here. Okay, they are not empty because they are just empty files. Okay, then you have those, you have the layout and the page. Okay, so that's how it is. Okay, so let's start. So the first part you're going to look at, let's first of all look at the part of the layout. Okay, okay, so I want us now to start with the layout part. So in this layout, you're going to first of all start by importing our global styles. I hope you can remember like they are the global styles. Let me show you here. So this is the globals .css, and this one comes like so this is just the default styles that come with Tailwind when you are installing Next.js. Okay, so like you have not made any changes to that styles. Okay. And then after being able to import also the global styles, I want us to now to create a function. So this function you're going to name it as is going to be named as export default function root layout. Then inside it you're going to put this return, and then you're going to put here an HTML, and then this HTML is going to, inside it is going to have a body with this class name, and you're going to also export here like a metadata. So this metadata is the one that is going to be contained when you're running your application. Let me show you how. So it's going first of all to have a title, GitHub year review. Then it's going to have a description of analyze your GitHub activity for the year. Okay, so these ones are going to be very useful. You're going to be using them in these applications a couple of times. So after doing that, I want us now to create some children. So we're going to create here our children as a prop. So we're going to pass here the children, and then here is going to be the children, then passing that is the React node. Then below it you're going to now put that children like that, okay, inside the body. Okay, so after I've done that, now that one we are through now with the layout.tsx. I want us now to move to the page.tsx. Okay, so in this page.tsx, we are going now to start by importing now the username. But the problem is one. Now the username is empty right now, so it's going to cause issue later. So what you're going to do is this. Let me show you. I'm just going to import it. But 1 second, let me show you. So let's start first of all by importing the username. And username, first of all, it's coming from /components/username form. Okay, and then we're going to now create our function. So our function is home, and then here inside it is going to still have that return. Then inside the return you're going to put some tags known as main, and then going to have this class name of minimum height to be screen flex, that flex to be column, items center, they just are going to be center, and then pixels are going to give it to be 4. Okay, and then inside it you're going to have now a h1. So h1 is just the title that is going to be there, which is going to be GitHub year review, and then inside you're going to give it a that is paragraph, yeah, and then this paragraph, this is what is going to say. So it's going to say enter your GitHub username to say your activity for 2025, and then inside it you're going to paste now that particular username form. But remember, this username form it doesn't exist, so we need to create now these files so that this part can be able to function appropriately. Okay, so in the meantime you can just comment it so as to avoid any issue. So what we are going to do is I want us now to make this username form. Okay, let's come and then make this username form appropriately. Now I want us now to make our username. So we are going to first of all starting by using the part of the user client, because this is Next.js, and then we're going now to import this. So the first thing you're going to import is the useState from React, and then I'm going to import the dashboard from dashboard, then loading spinner from that, and then the fetch GitHub stats, then the sum of these icons from Lucid React, then going to create now this function known as username form. Okay, but remember this, the loading spinner has not currently been created, so it's going to cause issue later, but you're going to solve that in a couple of few minutes. Okay, so again I want us now to make a return inside this inside this username, inside this function. So I'm going to have this return. So inside this div that we've been able to create, it has those sets of width to be full, and then flex column, then items to be center. Please pardon me for the noise, background. So again, I'm going to do this. I want us now to also put here some use state. So example, the first one you're going to be using is the part of the const. We're going to put this use state for username. Okay, and then we're going to put the one for loading. The part for the loading is for the loading spinner. Okay, then we're going to put the one for the stats. Okay, then I'm going to put the one for the error, and then I'm going to put, first of all, start by putting here like a component for handle submit. So that means that when you press the button for submit, then the code inside here in the handle submit then is the one that is going to be executed. Okay, so first thing I'm going to put here is a try cache inside it. So that means in case of it, if it fetches to get your GitHub stats, then it's going to give you a particular error, which is going to be failed to, the error is going to be failed to fetch the GitHub data. Please check the username and try again. That means if either the username doesn't exist, or you put a, or maybe there is internet issue, so you're going to get that error. Okay, but if in case everything is going to be okay, then this is what's going to happen. What you're going to get is you're going to get it's going to fetch the GitHub stats of the username, and that's going to trim it appropriately. Okay, yeah. So another one I wanted to put here is for the stats, for the handling key press first of all. So, and when you for the handling key press, and then you're going to put now that particular part for handling submit, the one that we've been able to create here. Okay, like that. And then I want us now also to put another one here for handling reset. Okay, so for handling reset, still is going to also set the set start. First of all, is going to give it to be null. Then the username is going to be just is going to be empty like that. Then set error also empty like that. Okay, and then inside this this div, I want us now to first of all to say to put this conditional statement here. That means if there is no stats and it's not loading, then it's going to, there is no stats and it's not loading, then I'm going now to put here. Now this is what is going to be executed here, and I'm going to put now this div here, these two divs. So the first div has a width of full, and then maximum width is medium, and then this other div has a class name of background to be white, rounded to excel, shadow to excel, padding 8, border, and then border slate of 200, and then hover is shadow, 3 excel, and then transition shadow, and then duration is going to be 300. Okay, now inside this I want us now to put this another div with that kind of style, and then now we're going to have another div inside it. Okay, then now we're going to put now the particular GitHub, class name. Okay, the particular GitHub class, the particular this GitHub. Okay, in case there is no stats and it's not loading, so it's just going to show that part of the GitHub like that. Okay, and then if let's say if those don't apply, then inside, first of all, like below the second div from inside, we're going to put now this h1. So this h1 is the one that is going to, is like the text for, it's going to be like the header for our web app. So it's going to be named like the GitHub year review. Then it's going to have a paragraph of generate your annual contribution report. You can see, and the paragraph, the class name, text slate 600, text to be center, and then MB to be 8. And then inside it, you're going to have now this other div here, then this div inside it also you have now this other div here. Okay, so and then inside the div we are going to have a label. Okay, we're going to have these label tags, and then in the first label is going to be HTML for our GitHub username, and then class name is going to be that, which is block, text small, font medium, text slate to be 700, and then MB to be 2. Okay, then I'm going to put now the particular part of the GitHub username. So this is one that's going to prompt someone to put now the particular GitHub username. Okay, now let us not put here on our input. So this input is where now the particular user is going to input now their particular username appropriately. Now here I want us now to give this input some particular properties. So for the first property, first of all, I'm going to say here is you're going to say on change, and then in case of any, or in case of an event, so it's going to set the username. That will be the event.target.value. Then you're going now to use now the on, we're going to say here on press, and then it's going to handle the key press, the one that we had created earlier. I don't know if you can remember it. This is the one we had created earlier. Okay. And then still we're going also to give it this property of value to be the username. Okay. Then I'm going to give you some placeholder and this kind of style. So we're going to say the placeholder is going to be enter your username, and then this style, which is of width to be with full, border 2, and then like border to be slate 200, and then rounded to be Excel, and then padding is going to be 3, and then focus is going to be outline none, then focus is going to be ring 2, then focus ring indigo 500, focus, and then border transparent, and then transition on. Okay, so that's the all the properties going to have. Let's include one again. So we're going to give it an ID of GitHub username, and then type is going to be text. Okay, now that is how our input is going to look like. Okay, I want us now to come below that div, and then I want us now to create now let's say, like, if in case we have any error, then this part of the error is the one that is going to appear appropriately. Okay, so we've been able now to create this error. Then inside this error, we have now this div with these styles, and then it has this span. Okay, inside the span, we also create now another span. Then I'm going out to output now the particular error that the person is going to get. Okay, so that's how it is. And then the last thing I want us to do is now create now our button for generating, because I think you saw we had that button for generating the review. Then you had another button for telling someone to be able now to create now another review appropriately. Okay, so this button for generating a review is going to have this style. That style, let me show you. Okay, so that's the whole style that's going to have. Then I'm going now to put now this property of disable if there is no username dot stream, if there is no username. So, and then I'm going to say here, in case of someone, if someone clicks it, then it's going to invoke the handle submit. Okay, and then now here we're going to give it the button. I'm going to give it this text of generate review, and then it's going to also have this sparkles. This sparkle is just an icon on, you can see here. This is how it looks like. It's just an icon from Lucid React. If you want to know more about these icons, you can just press here, and then you can be able to check it out, or here, or you can check the Lucid React documentation here. Okay, it's just an icon. Okay, so after I've done that, I want us now to create now our last button, which is the one that after you've been able to generate a review, then you can be able now to generate another review. So I want us now to create now our last button, and I want us to come here below. So the first thing we are going to, first of all, before including a button, we're going to include now a loading spinner, because like, remember when you press it, like you had that spinning of the loading button. I want us now also to come here below to also now create our stats. Then this is going to have an empty tags. Then going to now also include here our dashboard. Okay, but remember I have not created our dashboard, so okay. And then I want us to come here below it. We're now going to now create this button. Okay, so let me show you the reasons why you're doing this. Okay, that means after you've been able now to create your particular GitHub review, so what is going to be shown first is the dashboard part. Okay, because I remember with many programming languages, including JavaScript or React or Next.js. Okay, JavaScript, because it's just JavaScript. So what usually happen is it usually like runs from top to down, top to bottom. That means this part of the dashboard is the one that is going to be shown on top, and then there below you're going to have now that part of the text telling you to generate the review again. So that part of the text telling you to generate the review again is now going to have this but is going to be a button, and then it's going to have this property. Okay, so you can see more about this property this is how it looks. And then it's going to have this text of first of all, it's going to have an on click of handle reset. That means if you press it, then it's going to handle now the particular reset, the one that we had made it here. Let me show you. It's going to handle this reset. That means it's going to set state to be null, then set username to be empty, and then set error to be empty, like that. So before that, I want us now also to give it a name, to give it this that is this icon of arrow left, and then let's give it a name, this one. So the name is going to be, the name of the button is going to be generate another review. Okay, yeah, so that's how it's going to be. So from that point, I think we are through with our username. And us now to go, I want us now to create two things. I want us now to create now the loading spinner, and to create also the dashboard code. Okay, because remember right now they are, both of them are empty. Okay, so let's create those two. Okay, so I want us to come now to our loading spinner here. Then in this loading spinner, first of all, it's going to be very simple. We're going to first of all start by creating our function loading spinner. Then inside it, we're going to we're just going to make it very simple. We're just going to import. We are just going to not import really. We're going to put some divs. We're going to have like 2 or 3 divs. So this is how they're going to look like. So the first one is this div. So this is the outer div. Then this outer div has this style of flex column, and then item center, and then gap to before. And then the next divs we are going to have is this. So we have this outer, we have this inner div. Then inside this inner div we have now 2 other divs. Okay, so this inner div has a style of relative, and then this other div, they have almost the same style but not really the same. So we have width of 16, height of 16, and then border to be 4, border indigo of 200, and then rounded full. And then the next div we have is width to be 16, height 16, border 4, then border indigo, but this one is 600, and then rounded is going to be full, then border to be transparent, and then animate is going to be spin, and then absolute, then you have top 0, and then left 0. Okay, so inside there, and then I want us now also to have another div here, another paragraph here. So this paragraph is the one, it's this paragraph below the second div. So this paragraph is going to have this text loading your GitHub stats. Then the paragraph class name has this kind of style. So that means after you press your button, then you're going to see that text while you are loading your GitHub stats. Okay, then that's it for the loading spinner. Now let's move to the part of the dashboard part. Okay, so this is how our dashboard is going to look like. So I want us first of all to put that as a client, and then we're going to put our function here like that. And then I want us first of all to start by importing all of this. So we are going to be importing the use ref. Let me show you. You're going to importing the use ref and the use state. They're all coming from React, and then the contribution grid from /contribution grid, then also the languages chat from /chats. Okay, and also the stats card. Okay, and then in regards to icons, these are the icons you are using: the download, the star, git branch icon, you have the git pull request, the alert circle, you have the calendar, then you have the trending up. So those are the icons you're going to be using. Okay, yeah, so I want you to note this. So these 3 files, they have been created, but you don't have anything in them, so they're going to cause issues later. So but before that, let's not put the necessary codes here in the dashboard. Then I'm going to make those 3 charts. Okay, so I want us first of all to start by putting out the part of the stats.any as in like props, like that. Then I'm going to have now the part of I'm going to put here a const. So this const is going to contain everything that you're going to be using here. So let me show you here. So we have the user, we have the name. So this const here it is. You have the name, You have the total reposts, you have the total stars, you have the collected reposts, you have the inactive reposts, the merged PRs, you have the issues, then you have the total commits, the calendar, languages, and then most active day and the most active month. Okay. Then another thing you're going to do here below it, I want us now to have also this one for the in regards to this one for generating like on our PDF. Okay, but remember this part of the generating PDF, I'm not going to make it to work 100%, so you're going to finish it by yourself. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. Below that, so this one you can see here we have const dashboard reference to be useref HTML div element, and then null const is generating, set is generating, and then you set is false. So the aim of the part of the HTML part is just to help us in regards to downloading now the particular PDF as it is. Okay, so but below it you're going now to also have here a const download PDF. So this const download PDF is going to be async, and then inside it you're going to have this and us to have is set is generating to be true, and then I'm going to say if it's not, if there's no dashboard reference at current, then it's going to return. Then below the set is generating, I'm going to put a try cache. So this the try is going to have this. So you're going to say the try is going to have this. So it's going to have a const HTML to canvas await import HTML to canvas dot default, and then const JS PDF await import JS PDF, then const element to be dashboard reference or current. Then in this const canvas dot await HTML to canvas element, side is going to be scale of 2, use cause to be true, then logging is going to be false, and then background color is going to be white, then ignore elements going to be element that, and then ignore the button in PDF. Okay, and then return element to be class list dot contain, and then PDF ignore. Okay, now below that I want us now to have, now also remember in regards to dashboard, you can also have an image. So we say const image data to be canvas dot data URL image PDF. Then below it you're going to have a const PDF dot JS PDF. Then orientation is going to be portal, unit mm, then a format A4. Okay, and then here we're going to have a const image prop set to be PDF dot get image properties image data. Then const PDF width is going to be PDF dot internal dot page size dot get width. Then lastly we're going to have the const PDF height is going to be image props dot height times PDF width, and then divide by that is image props dot width. Okay, then below that you are going to have also to put now the particular part of the add image. So it's going to be PDF dot add image, and then put the image data. It's going to be PNG, then 00 PDF width, PDF height, PDF saved to be that name, and then GitHub review PDF. Okay, that is in regards to how you're going to save it. Now in regards to now our cache and the finally, so the cache is going to have the particular error. Then it's going to console this part of the error. Going to console this part of the error as an alert in case of any issue. So this is what you're going to receive on the front end as an alert, but on the console side you're going to get this error generating PDF. Okay, and then you're going to have a finally here. So this finally is going to have a set is generating, and then you're going to put now the particular part of the false. Okay, also below it I want us now to have a div. So inside the return you're going to put a div. So this div is going to have this class name of margin top to be 8, and then width is going to be full, then maximum width is going to be 6 as well. Then you're going to have other two with its div inside it. So these are the properties inside it. Now below these divs, before these divs, I want us to first of all this second div I want us to give this reference of dashboard reference. Okay, and then I'm going to put here a height 2 of GitHub review. So that means like when you're generating, you're going to get here the name of the person. If your name is John, you're going to get here John GitHub review. If your name is Mary Doe, you're going to get here Mary Doe GitHub review, etc. Okay, and then below that, I want us to have also a paragraph. So this paragraph, we're going to have some text known as annual contribution summary and statistics. That means that you're going to get example like, let's say, Mary GitHub review, and then below it you're going to see it's going to see this text, this paragraph saying annual contribution summary and statistics. Now below it, now I want us now to put now the necessary things for that the person is going to see for all the grade etc, regards to grade etc. So I want us to put here now this other div. So this div is going to have a class name of padding to be 8. So this div is the one that's going to contain the grade stats. That was in regards to the margin, to the number of commits, to the number of the stars someone has gotten etc, etc, to the conflicts that have arisen etc. So let me show you how it's going to appear like. Okay, so before that we are going to put now this div inside. So it's going to have a grade columns, and then the columns is going to be 1. In small devices are going to have grade, and then columns 2, and then large devices is going to be grade, then columns 3, and then gaps going to be 4, and then margin bottom is going to be 8. So this is what you're going to have. So this is what I was telling you about. So this is how it's going to be. Now inside this div, so you have this stats card. Okay, so this stats card, they look the same, okay, but they have different, they have some very little changes. Okay, so you have this first one known as, okay, still a stats card, but it has titles is the total commits, okay, and then the value is total commits, okay, and then the icon that is there is the git branch, okay, but in regards to the width and the height, they are the same, which are 5, and then the color is indigo. Okay, also for the second one is for repositories, value total repos, the icon calendar, and then color is purple. Then for the third one, you can see here it's stars that you have earned, and then value is total stars, and then in regards to the icon is star, and then the color is amber. Okay, now for the fourth one is the title is pull requests, and then the value is merged PRs, and then in regards to the icon is the GitHub pull request, and then the color is emerald, and then the fifth one we have the title to be issues created, then values is issues, and then you have icon to be alert circle, and then color is going to be rose. Okay, and then the last one is stats, the stats card. So the title is active projects, value is completed completed repos, icons is trending up, and then class name is width to be 5, and then height to be 5, and then color is going to be cyan. Okay, so those are the ones that I was telling you about. Now before that, below that, I want us now also to have here in regards here another div. So this div inside it, you're going to have this these two. So the first one is going to show you the most active day, and then the next one is going to show you the most active month. So this div inside it, you have now this other div, and then inside it you have this paragraph with the text most active day. Now below that paragraph, I want us to now have this so you're going to have also this paragraph, which now here is going to show you now the most active day. Okay, now below it, I want us now to have now the most active month. Okay, now you can see they're almost the same, the most active month, then also the same. So here you have the most active month. Okay, then below it, you're going to do this regards to the contribution grid. So you're going to have this div here. Now this div is going to have this div, then this div is going to have a height of 3, and then it's going to say contribution activity, and then it's going to show you now the part of the contribution grade. But remember, like the contribution grade, you haven't been able to make that file right now, so that's how it's going to be like. Okay, then we're going to pass here also the calendar, then here pass also the calendar like that. So, okay, another one we're going to put we're going to do the same also for the stats card. Let me show you here. For the first of all, for the languages chart, so still the same thing, the divs, and then you have this h3 languages used, and then you have this part of the inside div. We have now the part that's going to be showing you the languages that have been used. Okay, also I want us now to come below here. We're going to have this div, and then inside it you're going to have now this button. Okay, so this button is going to have an icon. I'm going to have this icon for download. Okay, it's going to have this icon for download, and then this is how the size look like. Okay, so that's how the size look like, and then below it, and then before it you're going to have an on click. So an on click of download PDF. So on click is going to invoke the download PDF, and disabled is generating. Yeah, so like that, and then I have here a text. A text is generated. We're going to have here this kind of a text, or like a kind of a conditional statement, conditional line of code. So it's going to say if it's generating, if it's able to generating, if it's generating, then it's going to say generating PDF. Else it's going to say download PDF reports. Okay, that means if you that button, when you press it, when you have not pressed it, then it's going to just show you like download the PDF report. But if you have pressed it, then it's going to show you generating PDF. Okay, then if in case of any error, then that's what's going to happen. Okay, yeah, so that's it for us. Right now we are in the contribution grid. Before that, so there are two codes I want to give you. So the first one is for the github.ts, then the second one is for the helpers.ts. Okay, so we're not going to write this code, but I'm going to give you there in the description. So what you can do is you can check out the part of the assets that I've put in the link in the description, or just go to the particular codes that you have been able to, that I've put that link there below. You can just go to that particular code, then be able now to download the particular and check it like and download it from GitHub directly. So or copy those two codes, that is for the helpers and for the GitHub. Yes. So and then after you've copied them, you'll just paste them, and then yeah. So this is how for the one for the GitHub looks like. Then this is how the one for the helpers looks like. So let me through how the one for the GitHub looks like, so that just a very brief the role, like, so that I can see how it looks like. Okay, yeah. So the one for the GitHub, this is how it looks. So first of all, it has this function known as the fetch GitHub stats. Okay, so this function fetch GitHub stats is the one that is going to check if there is no username, then it will show you a particular error. And remember, like for you to be able now to check the particular statistics of someone or yourself, like using the GitHub API, using this GitHub API here, what you just need is to use this GitHub API, and then you'll be able now to get the particular information. But for you to get unlimited access, so that you can be able now to check every time or test every time using your computer, then you need the that's where the GitHub token comes in. Okay, the one that you had generated earlier in the video. Okay, because if you don't have now the GitHub token, when you generate when you do a lot of requests using your particular laptop or your particular computer, if you do a lot of requests now, remember, like, your laptop or computer has an IP, so it will be able now, like, it's going to be taken as spam. That's why if you do it like a couple of times, you're not going to be able to get those particular statistics using a particular computer. So that's why we need the particular token, because with the GitHub token, be able now to generate like it indefinitely. Okay, so for you not to fetch now the particular user information, this is what you are going to be doing here. If just using the GitHub API, you can see here. So that is the https api.github.com/users. Then here you're using now the username of the person in GitHub. Okay, then you're saying if there is no response, then it's going to show you GitHub API error. Okay, if response is not okay. Else, in case of any error, just going to say error fetching your profile. It is and then for us to be able to fetch now the repos. Okay, so this was number one in regards to fetching out the profile. Okay, because remember the things you're fetching the profile, the repos, the stats, etc. So the second one is for fetching out the repos. So yeah, so we're saying here let repos, and then it's using a try cache. Still the same thing, you can see here for fetching the repos. Yeah, so you can come and then go through it. Then you have this third one for fetching now the languages. Then this fourth one for fetching now the PRs. Okay, then the fifth one for fetching now the particular part of the issues from here how it is. And then this last one for fetching now the contribution calendar. Okay, the contribution calendar, you can see. So that's we are using GraphQL. Okay, yeah, so that's okay. Yeah, and the last one for most active day or month, just using almost the same thing. Okay, so take your time and then go through it, and then you'll be able now to understand how it is. If you're new to React, please don't be worried about it, but just take your time slowly and then go through it. Okay, yeah, so remember, like I'm going to put this part of the GitHub TS and the help us TS in the as assets in the description below. Or if I forget, because sometimes I may forget, you can just go to the GitHub URL link. I'm going to put it there below, and then check for our in our completed project, and then check for those two files, helpus.ts and then the github.ts. Download them, then I'll copy them, and then after I've done that, you can just paste them in your own code, and it will be able to run successfully. Okay, now also let me show you how the helpers look like after we pasted them. So this is how the helpers look like. Very simple, very simple. Yeah, very simple. So this, let me show you just briefly. Yeah, so that's how it looks like. The helpers, the helpers. Yeah, so that's how they look like. So apart from that, I want us now to come to the contribution grid. Okay, now in this contribution grid, what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to start by putting out our function, importing first of all the state and then our function. So we are going to name it function contribution grid. Then this function is going to first of all have a return and then div, and then we're going to first of all put here an interface for contribution day, then another interface for contribution week, then another one for calendar date, then another one for contribution grid props, like that. Okay, this, because I remember this one, this part deals with the part of the contribution, like in regards to how the developers are contributed throughout the particular year. Okay, so inside this function, what I want us to do is we're going to first of all put here as a prop the part of the calendar, in regards to the part of the calendar and for the PDF part. So this is what you're going to do is, I want us to first of all put here a const, and then this const is going to have a usage of that of indigo 500 of this color, just an indigo 500. Now below it you're going to have a get day color. Okay, that means the color is going to be this one, but it's just gray with 200. Okay, so for those who might be thinking as the reasons why you're putting the color to be in your state, because like remember in the part of the contribution grid, the person was able now to change the part of the color of the contribution as per what they wanted. So with this, that's why we are putting it as a use state. That means the person can be able now to change any color in regards to what they feel like. Okay. Now, below this part of the get day color, I'm also going to have this for getting the opacity. So get opacity, and then the day count is going to be number, and then I'm going to say if for PDF return 1, and if day count is equal to 0, return 1, and then I'm going to use the math.minimum day count, then that is 10 plus 0.3, and then close the one there. And then I'm going to also use here part of the math. So we're going to say const max contribution. So that's going to be the math.max, and then inside it the part of the calendar. Now I want us now to come to this div here inside the return. So we're going to say if there is no PDF, and if there is no PDF, and so inside it we are going to have that div. So this is what's going to happen. So if there's no if there is no for PDF, then inside this is what's going to happen. So this inside this label we are going to have this text, the grid color. That means for the grid color that, and then inside it you're going to have now this part of the input with that ID to be grid color, and then the type is going to be color, and then with that class name. We're going to give it a value to be color, and on change is going to be set color, that will be event.target.value, and then below it you're going to say so we're going to give it also a div here. So this div has a class name of overflow, and then auto padding button to be 2, and then below it inside it you have this div, another div with the style of inline grid, then grid flow, and then a column, gap to be 1, minimum to be width to be max, and then inside we have the calendar.week.map, then also showing the week, and then the week index. Inside also we have the div, its property, then you have the week.contribution days.map, going to be mapping now the particular part of the day and the day of their contribution. So here also you have another div. So this div is going to have these properties again. So it's going to have a title. So the title is going to be put in this backticks. So title is going to be put in this backtick. That's in regards to the day date, day contribution count. Then the contribution is going to be day.contribution count, which is not equal to 1, then s or empty, like that. Then you're going to have a key. So this key is going to also be in backticks. So you guys, that's going to be the week index and then the day index, like that. Okay. So another thing I'm going to say here in regards to the style. So here the style is going to be, first of all, background color, and then that's going to be get day color, and then day contribution count, and then opacity is going to be get opacity, the day contribution count, like that. Then lastly here going to have now this this div here below. So this div we're going to give it a span. So span is going to be less, and then we're going to give it a div. Below this div we're going to have a span with the text more. Then below it you're going to have this part which is going to be mapping through them. So you're going to put here like in this part of the array to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 dot map label. Then inside you have now the div with the key label, and then class name to be width to be 3, height 3, rounded to be small, and then rounded to be in small. So style, and then this the style that's going to be appearing. So the background color to be level to be equal to 0, or to be this one. This one is color white. I don't know, like it's gray or white, yeah. Then or color, and then opacity level is going to be 0 or 1. That is going to be 0.3 plus the level times 0.175. Yeah, so that's it in regards to the contribution grade. Okay, so the next part I want us to look at is in regards to stats card. Yeah, I think the stats card. Let's do that. Now I want us now to finish this languages chart. So let's put that use file. Then I'm going to import this on from recharts. So the one I'm importing is the pie chart, the pie, the cell, tooltip, the legend, and the responsive container. Okay, you can see more about them when you just come here, and you want to see like more about them. Then from this point I want us also to put now a function. So I'm going to say export default function languages chart, like that. And then below it you're going to have now the particular colors. So before that I want us now to have this interface language just chart prop, and then so the data is the record, and then it's going to be a string or number. And then in regards to the interface py label prop, going to have this. That is going to be the cx, then to be number, and then cx number, mid angle number, inner radius, then is a radius, percent, index, name, and then the value. Then below it you're going to have now the particular colors. The particular colors that you're going to be using. So you have these ones here, and these are the colors, and then these are the colors in English, but they are in comments, so they can just be able now to go through them. Okay. Below that I want us now to create here a return. Then here we're going to put now the languages chart prop, languages chart prop. We're going to we're going to pass it as a prop here. Then below it I want us now to also map through the colors. So we're going to say object.entities data.map. So we're going to map that, and then I'm going to put also the name and value there as prop, and then I'm going to include the name here and the value, like that. Then below that we're going also to do a custom tooltip. Then you're going to use a return. Then this return you're going to have a return to be null inside it. Then you're going to pass also the active payload. Then if active and payload length. So this is what's going to happen is you're going to have you're going to first of all have this. So first of all inside this div we are going to have first of all this paragraph, and it's going to show the payload from starting from array 0. So array 0 that is from the first one, because array starts from 0. Array from the first one dot name. And then the next paragraph is going to be the payload, still the same, dot value to local string. Then you're going to have a text of bytes, like that. And then you're going to have now another one here for render label. So this render label is going to contain now the particular ones for the py. So just have a props to be py label props, and then the const is name percentage. Then that is props, and then if name and percent are not undefined, then it's going to return this, which is going to be the name, then percent times 100 to fixed. Then here below the return, here below our return, we're going to have this responsive container with 100 hide that, and then pie chart that. Then it's going to have these properties, and then but below for that I want us now to include those on here. So this is how they look like. Yeah, so this is how they look like. So here in the pie we have now this data, which is going to be the part of the chart data. Then the data key is going to be value. Then the name key is going to be name. CX is going to be 50%, CY 50%. Outer radius 110. Then label is render label. Then label line is going to be false. Okay. Then these are the part for the chart data dot map. Then passing that part of the index. and then cell key, and then cell index, fill to be colors index, the colors length, then passing out the particular part of the pi, and that also the part of the tooltip content to be custom tooltip, and then the legend. This legend is going to have the vertical align to be bottom, then height is going to be that 6, then formatter value span class name text slate 700. Okay, like that. So that's it for the languages chart. Okay. Okay, so I want us now to finish with our stats card. So this is what we're going to do. First of all, let's have this function, name function to be stats card. Then before that, we're going on to,
so this is the interface. So the interface prop is going to have the title string, value to be number string, icon to be that. That's React Node, and then color indigo, purple, amber, emerald, rose, cyan, and then the one for the color class, like that. For the one that you've been able to write down. So that's how the properties are. And then after that, I want us now to also have put now this part of it, pass this title, value, icon, color as prop in our function. After doing that again, so we're going to say this const color class, and then doing the color class, and then passing out the particular color. Also const background class, and then text class, then color class dot split. Then inside there, we're going to have now two. They have this. They have these properties. So you can see the first one and the second one. So those are the properties that they have. Okay. Below, so here we're going to also have this paragraph. So this paragraph will have the tool, and then inside it you're going to have now the particular part of the icon, and then this icon inside it we're going to have now a particular div. So in this div, this class name has a background class, and padding to be 2, rounded to be large, text class, and we're going to have here now passing out the particular icon. Okay. Now below that div, we have the paragraph which is going to be showing us now the value. Okay, and it has these properties here. Has that property like that. Yeah. So from that point, I think we are through with everything. So I think right now let's run it and see how it's going to be look like. Okay. Yeah. So I think from that right now we are through with everything. So you can just run it, save it, and yeah, save everything, and then you're going and then run it, and then we're going to see how it looks like. So these are not supposed to be double S, just supposed to be no S. So yeah, so let's solve that. 1 second. Let me solve that. I think that was, yeah, that was an issue that I had caused. So let's run it and see. Okay, so it's supposed to be solved in, is it running really? Okay, yeah, it's running. Okay, yeah, so you can see GitHub your review. So everything is working now. Let's right now test everything and see if it's going to work as appropriate. Okay, thank you. Let's test it.
Now I want us now to deploy it. So here is how it looks, and yeah, so here it looks. So what I want us to do is I want us to come to Vercel. Then in Vercel I'm going to import it. So if you don't know how to use Vercel, check out my previous video about how to deploy using Vercel. Okay, so and then from this point we'll select this zone. Okay, then environmental variables. Okay, and then let's reply and then see how it's going to be. So some few seconds and then let's see. Yeah, so remember, like here we have all the codes. Now let's wait a little bit for see if it's going to run perfectly. So here you are seeing like it's building the logs. It's building the logs, and yeah, 1 second. So wait some second and see. Okay. But remember, okay, it has been deployed successfully. But remember, like to make those two features that I told you that aren't working. Please make sure to at least do them by yourself. Okay. So here you can see I've been able to deploy it successfully. Now let's press continue to dashboard to be able to see it accordingly. Okay. So here it is. Okay, enable. Okay, now here is the URL. Okay, here it is. Now let me put my username again and try to see if I'm going to get anything. Right now it's running online. Okay, so let's see. One second. Yeah, I see everything looks okay. Continuous brands, GitHub, okay, everything looks perfect. Okay, except the download PDF because it's not working right now. Okay, but everything looks okay. Okay, so that's how it is. Thank you guys for watching, and please make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Just come here and then please make sure to subscribe. And then also if you have subscribed, make sure at least make sure the bell is on. That means like if we, in case we deploy, if we give out any, if we give you guys any kind of videos, then you'll be able to know it accordingly. Okay, so thank you guys so much, and yeah, so let me wish you a Merry Christmas. If you have reached up to this point, thank you so much. And yeah, so as the year is coming to an end, I'd like to say thank you guys for supporting us. Hello guys, welcome back to another video with me on the Cobran. So today we're going to build this very beautiful web app. So we are going to name it like as Job Finder AI. So the technologies you're going to be using is, first of all, in the front end you're going to be using Next.js, and then for authentication you're going to use Clerk for authentication, and then for our API, the one that will be able to help us get now the particular jobs, we're going to use like an API known as the Adzuna API. And then for the backend, we're going to be using Node.js for the backend, and for our database, we're going to be using Postgres database from Neon. So that's the technologies we're going to be using it today. So example, let me show you the application here. As you can see, like first of all, trying to log in, because as you have realized, like first of all, someone needs to log in or to create an account before they can be born out to search for particular jobs. Yeah. So after logging in, so like 1 second. So this is how it looks after I've logged in. Now let me import now. Let me now input now the particular information in the input so that I can be able to get the particular jobs and show you how it works. Now let me include here the necessary inputs like this. Then this next one. Then let's see if you're going to get now the particular jobs. And the best thing about this web app is that you can be able to get any job you want, and it's particularly like searching the particular job and the particular location where you want the job to be located at. And also you can also, after you've applied for the particular job, you can be able also to see it on the history. So as you can see here, some of the jobs that you've been able to see. You can see there's the job description. You have also the company and the time you have applied. You can see everything, and also you have that button for which states that if you press it, then it will take you to the particular place that you need to be able to apply. Okay. So let me press this, and I want to show you something. If I press this, it's supposed to be saved on our history, and then other than being saved in our history, like also the particular information is supposed also to be saved to our database. So one second. Okay, you can see like after pressing it, now I was redirected to another page where it is showing me now the particular description of the particular job that I had applied. You can see that I want to apply. You can see here is an example of the particular one that I had pressed. You can see. Now I want us now to move here, and I want to show you again with another one. But before that, let me show you how the history. You can see after pressing that one, if you come to the history part, the history is supposed to show you like all the jobs that you have applied. You can see here in the history you have now the information of the job you had applied. The only issue is that I had pressed the button twice. That's why like you can see it appearing twice. We're supposed to only appear once. Yeah, but that's a small issue that you can be able to solve it, or you can be able to add on your own. Yeah, let me just delete this. But you can see like after having pressed that part of apply, it assumes that I've been able to apply successfully, because you are being redirected to another part. So that job information has been saved to our database. Okay. Yeah, you can see now. But the history works perfectly. Even if you press that part of the link there in the history, it will take you still to the particular job you had applied. Okay. Yeah, that's how it works. And the best thing, it gives you like, it still like has all the necessary information. Example, let me press that, and then I want you to see. You can see I'm being redirected to the particular job that we had applied. You can see. Now let's turn here, and then I want us to do something again. You can see also our Clerk works perfectly as normal. Yeah, everything looks okay. I want us to change, I want us to change also the particular information and put another information so that you can be able to be sure, to be clear. So let's change this information of the job and the location that we had included. Let me just change first of all the profession to something else so that you can be able like to see for yourself. Okay, so 1 second as it is getting the particular jobs, and as per our API we have just included that we will be getting like maximum of 10 jobs. You can see here the jobs for that particular profession. It's still the same, and I'm also going to still press that view, apply that part of the applying so that it can be able to be redirected to another page. 1 second. And the best thing is that like I want you to also check like the description, because in the description I'm going to include now the particular URL for the deployed site. Okay, so that I'm more like to test it on your own. So you can see here is the particular place that we were redirected after pressing that. So yeah, everything is working perfectly. Yeah, so everything is working perfectly, and even if you come to our history, you'll see that particular one that particular job that we have just pressed right now. You can see like everything is appearing okay. Yeah, everything looks cool. Look, everything looks okay. And that's now like let's also try again another input, just to be like to be clear again, because I don't want you to think that maybe it's working for particular kind of data. I want us just to change everything and for you to be able to see it again. Now this is the last thing, this is the last part you are going to be doing, last explanation for how the web app works. So still passing. So let me press this and then show you again, pressing to apply. 1 second, and then it will be redirected to the particular page. Okay, so here is the particular page that you are redirected to. Yeah, and everything looks okay. Yeah, so you can see also the job information is clear, and yeah, so from this point is where then you can be able to apply. Still also the history works perfectly. It's showing us like all the particular information as needed. Yeah, so like that looks okay. Here we have all the information, and all this information is saved to our database, Postgresql, that I told you earlier. And right now we only have like one table. Like in our Postgres we only have just one table, and that table is the one that contains the particular information for history. Yeah, we only have just one table, but you can add as many tables as you want. It just depends on you. Like currently, like this web app that you built, what you can do is that you can continue by adding like more features if you want, and then to be able to make it look much better. You can add as many features as you want, and yeah, just as you want. You can add anything, but the thing is just make it to be much better as compared to how currently is. Okay, so I think from there I think we are through with everything. Then I think let's start now with our project. Yeah, let's just start with our project first. So let's open like to the terminal, or if you're using like either the terminal or the CMD, and then I'm going to make two folders. So the first folder is for the backend, and then the other folder is for the front end, or you can just name it Finder AI part. So the backend is going to contain the Node.js backend, then the front end is going to contain the Next.js front end codes. Okay, so and then make sure to install like all these dependencies just the way I've done there on the CMD. Make sure you've installed everything there that I've shown you there. But there's something that I forgot to show you. I also had installed Clerk and also Nodemon. That is for the backend. Yeah, I don't think I had shown it, but I think I had installed it late. I installed it later. So make sure to check that. Yeah, so that's how it is. So we have now the main folder, and then inside the main folder we have now those two folders there. Okay, you can see here as I've told you. Now let's come to our neon, and then here in the neon we are going to only make just one table. That is the transactions table. Not really transaction, that is the what is it called? Yeah, we're just going to make only one table. And if you're a newbie, if you come to neon, and then if you press this button, you're going to be shown taken somewhere here, and then after when you include your particular information, be able now to make your database name. You'll be able to give your database a particular name, then just follow the instruction, and then you'll be able now to make your particular table. Okay, but I had made it earlier, so yeah, I won't make it again because yeah. So let me just come to the one that I had made, and then I'm going to give you the particular table schema that we're going to make. As I've told you, we are just going to make only one table for this project, and then we'll be through with everything. So this is the schema that I'm going to give you, as you can see. So yeah, so I've pasted it there, and then you just press the create, then you'll be able to create that particular table. And the reason as why you are using Clerk ID is just for security purposes, because if we wanted to, we could just check the user email, and if the emails rhyme, then you can be able to show them the particular string. But I thought that by using Clerk, then to be more safer, because email anyone can get hold of your email, but no one knows about the Clerk information except the admin, and it's more secure as compared to an email. So that's why I had included a particular like the Clerk ID. Okay, so that's how it is. But I'm going to include that information in the particular assets folder in the description, so make sure to check it out. Yeah, so after doing that, I have to come also to our Clerk. But before that, let me just return here and then show you something one last time. One second. Yeah, here you'll need, like, after you've been able to make your table, make sure you copy this string. Make sure to copy that string and put it very careful. So that string, you can paste it in your backend.env or .env.local. So make sure to copy that URL and then paste it there. It's going to be really useful, because that is the one that connects your application with the database. So after doing that, if you come to Clerk, and then if you follow everything, then here first we're just going to be using only the Google. So only the Google social login and not the email, and then just put your particular information for the particular, like a particular login name. Just just include it there, and then if you press create, then your particular authentication with the Clerk is created. So the main thing you're going to need with the Clerk is only two. You're going to only need the publishable key and the secret. Only those two, and then those two you're going to paste them into our .env file. Yeah, I know there are other things like maybe in regards to maybe like the middleware.ts etc, but what you just need is the particular codes that we're going to include in the .env, because after you get like the particular information and you include it into the .env, then yeah, the other things can follow later. So after coming here, I want to show you something, but just make sure like to, if you come to this place like around the around API and webhook, be able to see like around API and webhook, you'll be able to see how to get now the particular information. Let me show you how, and then make sure like to copy it and then paste it in the .env. This is how it is. So copy this information and paste it into the .env, and as you can see it's Next because you're using Next.js. But if you're using React, make sure like it's React. If you're using like the particular language, make sure it's that particular language. Okay, yeah, just to avoid any confusion. Now after we've done that, I want us to now come to the particular last part, which is the Adzuna API. So Adzuna is just like the place where like we have all the particular jobs, and for us you can go just to access it. Okay, so I already had an account, but if you are new to Adzuna, which I know most of you will be, make sure to register. Like it's the process is very easy. Make sure you've registered and then you verified your email, and then after you verified your email, then you will not be given now the particular API. And the only thing we need here is that the API key and that application ID. Those are the only two things you're going to need in Adzuna. Nothing more, nothing less. So make sure to register first. Let me show you something here so as to make it much easier for you. And to be able now to know like Adzuna, you can like that particular URL that we are talking about is not just adzuna.com. Make sure it's the developer.adzuna.com if I'm not wrong. But to know like the particular URL, just write Adzuna, and then you're going to see that part with the API part. Make sure to click it, and then you're going to be taken to the developer part. Okay, so here's the information you're going to fill if you are registering, but if you're logging in, very easy. So make sure to fill all the information, and then you're going to get a confirmation message in your email so as to confirm everything. Okay, so that's how it is, and then copy this and then paste it in your .env or .env.local. Okay, so that's how it is. Now let us now move to the particular making the particular codes, and then we'll continue making the application like vividly. Okay, so before we do that, I want us first of all to come to our .env. So this is the .env for our backend. Like I want us now to paste the things that we had included earlier. Example, you have now the Adzuna app ID. Okay, also the Adzuna app key. I hope you can remember. These ones are the ones that we had copied earlier. This one like contain contains now. This is the one like we're going to use. You're going to use Adzuna to be able now to get any particular job that is has been listed outside, like that has been listed in the internet. Yeah, so Adzuna is the one that's going to help us to do that. Also, we're going to include now a port of 5000 because we want our backend to run at 5000. Okay, and also we're going to include here a next public Clerk next public publishable key, even though this is not a must, but let's just include it there. Also we're going to include now also the Clerk secret here. The backend will just need the Clerk secret, but we can remove this publishable key because it's not a must, but this one is just a must for the front end. Also, we have now another thing, which is the database URL, which is very important. Okay, so this database URL is the one that will, this one is just the database URL that we had copied from Neon, yeah, from Neon in regards to our Postgres database that we had made. Okay, so as I told you, like these two are not a must. Okay, you can just comment them. You can comment them, but yeah, let's just leave them still. But you can comment them like they're not a must. Okay. Now after I've done that, I want us now to come to our index.js, because I want us now to start running our backend as appropriate. So first of all, you're going to start by importing express and also importing .env, which are coming from .env. Another thing, you're going to import also cause coming from cause. Then import, that is the job routes coming from /routers/job routes. Also import the application routes. Then you're going to include now like a console.log, which is going to have this message server running on port. Then you're going out to regards to the port here, we're going to now use the same port that we had, this same port that we had here in our .env. Okay, you're going now to include them. Then another thing, you're going also to include, that is a port of 5000. Here we're going to say like const port is equals to process.env, and then here we're going to use now the port 5000, or in case, let's say, if maybe we fail to include that 5000, is going to just be included there automatically. Okay, also you're going now to include now the particular config, because without this config we cannot be able now to access the .env file, so you need to include it. Also we need also to initialize now express, and also include now the part of the cause as appropriate. Okay, now let us also now start now including a particular route. So we're going now to include now the first route, which is for the API job routes, which is this one, the API job routes, like that you can see. So that will be app.use, and then that is the route, the path is /API/jobs. Then now include now that job routes, like that. Then also now let's do the other one for the part of the job history. So it's going to be /API/applications, and then include now that is application routes, like that. Okay, so after that, now for us to be able now to make sure that if we run, everything is going to be okay, you can just include here an upheld, so to be able to check now if the server is running or not. The main aim with this health check will just be to be able now to give us a particular message on the terminal, so that you can be sure if it's running or if it's not running. Okay, so let's now try to run it. It is, let's now try, that will be npm run dev. But before we run npm run dev, I want us to come also to package.json. I want us to include something. Now in your package.json previously, I want you to include this same code here. This one for start, include here, that will be node index.js. Okay, and then here also include now this part of the dev, that is node-mon index.js. Okay, I'm going to explain to you later. Also another thing you're going to include this part here, which says like type is, which say that type is module here. Type is module. So the reason why we're including this type is module is so that you can be able to use them, because our backend are going to make it using a structure known as the ES6 structure. ES6 structure uses now the imports and uses now the imports as appropriate as possible, and yeah, so we'll need to include that one. Okay, so the reason why we're including now this one, also this one is for the development. That's why we are doing here. That's why we are doing here like npm run dev, because that means if we say npm run dev, is going to use node-mon to run now our index file, which is index.js, to run our index file, which is index.js. Okay, Now for our development, for our production, this one is just for development, okay, for locally, development locally. Now for our production, it's going to be npm start. Okay, that's why I say here npm start, and we don't, for development we don't use node-mon. Just say here node, and then put that in that index file, which is the index.js. Okay, now do that and then save those. Very important, because if you don't do that now, it's not going to run. And then here we're going to do npm run dev. So let's wait a while and then see if it's going to run. Okay, the reason I saw you cannot, okay, if let's say if we wanted to, even you can run it using npm start. The issue with that is we cannot use npm start, because the issue you're going to get is we cannot, like, let's say if in case we make any changes, we cannot be able now to access it directly. The usefulness of node-mon is that like when you are making changes on our backend, we cannot be able now to review the changes automatically, instead of us restarting the server again and again. You know, that one can become boring. So if after running it, you can see now it's running on server, running on port 5000. Okay, so our backend is running okay. Okay, now let's now go to our job controller. We're going to start now first of all with our job controller, so that we can be able now to do the necessary. But before that, I want us now to go here to the db.js that is inside the config folder. So this is the job finder AI. Is going to contain our front end, while the backend is now going to contain our backend codes, obviously. So what I want you to do is, I want you to come first of all to the backend, and then you're going to start with this backend. So what I want you to do is, like, create the folder known as config. Then in this config, input this file known as the db.js. Okay, then also create another folder known as the controllers. Then in this controllers, create this file known as, this part of the file, JS file known as the application controller.js, and then another file known as the job controller.js. Okay, and then don't create this model. This one, let me just delete it. Don't create this one for the models, because we won't need that as per now. And then create another one known as this, known as the routers or routes. Then in this routes, you're going to have like two files, the application routes and the job routes. Okay, and then create now the main file known as the index.js. Okay, so let me explain to you in detail. So the job routes, from job controller, then the job routes, these ones are going to contain our model for accessing now the particular jobs using the API. And then now the application controller and the application routes, these ones are going to contain now the model for storing like the particular jobs that we apply. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. Let us now start with this index.js. Okay, so let's first of all make the index.js to run, then we'll continue. Okay, so I want us now to start with our job controller, then we'll move to our database later, because so let me explain to you what the job controller is going to do. So the main thing of the job controller is going to help in regards now to fetch the particular jobs from Arduino. So we're going to first of all start by importing now the, I hope you can see here. Let me show you here. We're going first of all now start by importing node fetch. Okay, because we're going to use it in regards to fetching now the particular data for our jobs. Okay, so let's now move to the job controller. So we're going to first of all start by importing fetch from node fetch, and then we're going to also now include now an export, that is export const get jobs, and this is an async function, so it's going to have a request and then a response. Then we're going to say const, and then we're going to include now the profession and the location, because that is the input in our front end. I don't know if you can remember, two of the inputs that we require the particular person to do is include now their profession and their location, for the profession that they are into, and then the location where they want the jobs to be located. And then another thing we're going to have now here, now going to include now the Arduino app ID. I'm going to say like const app ID is equals to process.env. So this one is going to assist in regards to access, in regards to accessing now the API, the backend, the app backend Arduino app ID. Also now we're going to do the same for the API key. So this one is for the ID, and then this one is for the API key. I'm going to do the same. And then after doing that, now I want us now to also, here we're going now to include now a try cache. So in this try cache is the one that we're going now to include now a particular model that is going to assist in regards to fetching now the particular jobs. Then we're going to close the cache for catching any errors. So let's start with the try. So in regards to validating inputs, because we don't want a situation whereby the user doesn't include any inputs and then they press get jobs, and then like we don't want to send like empty information to the backend. So I want to be able now to validate if the information they have sent is true or not. So what you're going to do is you're going to say if there is no profession, and let's say also there is no location, so it's going to return a response status of 400. Okay, and then I'm going to say success is false because it has not reached to the API, and then it's going to give you a message of please provide both profession and location. Okay, so also we're going to now be able now to, this one is just for validating the inputs that the user includes, and then this is going to validate the environment variable if it exists or not. So we're going to say here still the same, if there is no app ID, or if maybe there is no app key. Let's say if in case maybe we forget to include those ones in our .env, if let's say if none of those exist, it's going to give a success, so false, and the message is going to say server configuration error. Okay, and it's going to say like please contact the support. Still the same also in regards now to that one for validating environment, and then this one is going to fetch now for fetching now the Arduino. Now let's include now the particular data for fetching now the jobs. So this one is how you fetch now the particular jobs using Arduino. So let me put it like this. So what you say is you're going to say like const country is equals to process.env, and then now include the Arduino country, or let's say here we are just using ZA. So ZA is represents South Africa, but the reason why we have said this, we include this now Arduino countries, because we want now like anyone from any country should be able now to include their particular country or particular city, and to be able to get the jobs that are from the particular city. But remember, like Arduino doesn't give jobs for all the particular countries. Okay, like it has like its specific country. Okay, like particularly my country that I'm in right now, Arduino that doesn't have like info for that country, so it doesn't give jobs for those country. But I just use ZA for South Africa because it's the nearest. So after done that, now we have your const response await fetch, and I've played this, that is HTTPS, and then include now here the api.arduino.com, and then view1/api/jobs, then include here now the country /search, and then here the app ID to be, and then include now that app ID. Then here we have now the, let me show you. So here we have now the app key, that we also include now that app key. What that is encode URL component profession, where encode URL component, and then include now the particular location, and results per page. That means per page is 10. That means like for any jobs we get in a particular city or country, we're not going to get a maximum of 10. Okay, but you can be able now to increase also the from 10 to something else, but I think 10 is moderate and it's okay. Now after I've done that, I also want us now to include here, let's say if maybe, because sometimes Arduino may get errors in regards maybe to accessing it or any kind of error, so we want to be able to handle it here. So what we're going to do is So we're going to say like if maybe there is no response, and if maybe the response okay is not true, and the data.results is not true, and maybe there is no array of the particular data results in regards to the country and the location. So Arizona is going to give your console to error of saying Arizona API error, okay, and success is going to be false obviously, and then it's going to say no jobs found for Dutch in Dutch location. Let's say example in my country, if I include now the particular country to be, let's say France, okay, France, and then the that is the country, and then the profession software engineering. If I include those ones, I tried it earlier, like Arizona doesn't have information for jobs in that country, so it's going to give me no job found for software engineering in France. So try different search terms. Okay, so that's kind of error you're going to get. Okay, now let's say if maybe there is no results that is found, this one was in regards to any error in regards to Arizona, and let's say if maybe if there is no error but doesn't have any information in regards to the example I gave you. So this is what it's going to say. So this is an if data.results equal to length and then equals to 0, return response the status of 200. So success is going to be true, and it's going to say like no jobs found for that in that location. Okay, that is if maybe if the success is true but it hasn't found any job in that location. Okay, now let's say to be able now to process now the results safely, we're going to include a variable const jobs, and then that is going to be data the results the slice. So that we're going to include that now. That is a dot map, so that we're going to be able now to process now the data as particularly as possible. Okay, so we're going to, first of all, this is how we are going to process. So we're going to say title, that will be the job title. I'm going to include there the job title, or let's say if maybe it doesn't have the job title, it's going to be defaulted as untitled position. Then I'm going now to include also there the company. Then include now the here is going to display now the particular company name, but if there is no company name, it's going to say company is not listed. Also, I'm going now to include also the particular part of the location. I'm going to display the location name, that is the location name of that particular job or that particular job. And then when also now if it doesn't display the location, it's just going to say we're going to put now the particular location that we had included while searching it. Okay, then you're going to also to include now the particular job URL that comes from Arizona. Okay, else if we don't have that URL, just going to have a hash. Okay, so after doing that, we're also going to have here now our cache. Okay, so we're going to also now to include here now our cache. So this cache is just going to be handling like any error in regards to displaying now the particular errors in regards to displaying now the particular jobs. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. Okay, yeah, so from that point I want us now to move to the job routes, so that we can be able now to create the particular job routes as possible. I want us to first of all come to our db.js. I want us to now include a particular, I want us now to include now the particular codes for accessing our database, our Postgres database. So we're going to first of all starting by importing that is pg. That's going to be from pg for Postgres, and then .env. And then we're going to do here an export default pool. I'm going to show you why we're doing an export default pool. So first of all, before this, make sure you have done npm install pg. Okay, make sure you have done npm install pg. Okay, then after doing that, you're going now to include now the particular .env .config for accessing our .env, and then here we're going to include a const pool. Then that is const pool. Then we're going to set now the pg. Sorry, and then we're going to do a const pool equals to, that is new pool, and then you're going to do here, that is connection string process.env database URL. So we're going to access now our connection string for our Postgres. So, and then I'm going to do SSL, that's process.env, node.env, then that is going to be production. Okay, reject unauthorized is going to say false, like that. And then after having done that, for accessing our database URL, now for us to be able to test if the connection has been connected or not, we're going to do this. That is going to be pull.on connect. If in case, let's say if it in case it connects successfully, we're going to get a message saying connected to Postgres database. Okay, and then here, if in case maybe, let's say if in case we fail to connect successfully, so it's going to say unexpected error on idle client. Okay, that's just how it's going to say. Okay, so that's it. Now after having done that, db.js, I want us now to return to the application controller, because the application controller is the one that's going to use it a lot. So here in the application controller, I'm going to first of all start by importing now the database. So we're going to start by importing now. It is going to be pull from that path. Okay, and then after having done that, we're going to include a function for saving our application job, because sorry, remember the main aim for our application controller was just to be able now to save now the particular jobs, okay, in our database. So we're going to make this. So we're going to say export save application. Then inside this save application, obviously, let me do this. So you're going to obviously going to have now declare this. So it's going to be const, then include here Clerk user ID, the user email, the job title, the company, location, job URL. So the reason, so that means when someone presses the part of applying a particular job, the information that's going to be sent to the backend is going to be, first of all, the Clerk user ID, the user email, job title, company, location, and job URL, and that's the one that's going to be saved. Okay, so the reason also you include the Clerk ID is just for security purposes, and we have not just included now the email like that. Okay, because if you include the email now, it's going to be very easy for someone to be able not fake to being you, and then to be able not to access information that they are not supposed to. Then also include also the job title, company, location, job URL. Okay, and then after doing that, I want us now to include also a try case here. So in this try, you're going to first of all to be able to validate the if all the fields are there when saving or not. So we're going to do the same thing that we did earlier. So check the Clerk user ID, the job title, company, location, job URL. Case of issues, going to say missing required fields. And then we're going to do an insert application into the database. So this is how we're going to insert it. So we're going to say this is how we're going to insert it into our database, Postgres. So we're going to say const query, then include this include this backticks. Those are not quotes, those are backticks. Then include the backticks, and then I'm going to say insert into job applications, because our database, our table is known as the job application. So I'm going to insert Clerk user ID, the user email, job title, like you see like that. And then here I'm going to say const values, and then include now the same. Then const results equals to await pull.query, then include now the query values, like that. So we're going to say also here the response.status, if response.status is equals to 01, so that means that the success is true, and it's going to give you a message of application was saved successfully. Else, if maybe let's say we have an error, it's going to say error in saving the application, because it's a try cache. Okay, try cache here. Now for us to be able to check for duplicate applications in case of any issues, first to be able to check for any duplicate application, so we're going to include now a kind of code error, this, and then we're going to say results, return results to be status of 409, and then it's going to say success is equals to false, and then message is going to be you have already applied to this job. Okay, then it's going to include a response status of 500, that is going to be false, and then error saving application in case of that. Okay, now after having done that, Now first, now those ones are for saving now the particular user information. Okay, now after us saving it, now we need to be able to access that history. Okay, now first to be able to access it, we're going to also now create now another function here known as the get application history. So it's the same, and the parameter that you're going to check so as to know if it's the real person that is accessing it, you're just going to check the Clerk user ID. So that means that the user ID, when they are logging into the front end, if that user ID is the same as the one that was inserted into our database, then the person is going to be shown now the history. Okay, if they are different, then that person is not going to be shown the history. Okay, that's how it is. So again, after doing that, you're going to include also the try cache. So this try cache is going to say, like, if we have no Clerk user ID, it's going to return a success or false, and then message is going to say user ID is required, and then here we're going to say a const query, and then if let's say if everything is okay, then it's going to say like const query, and then it's going to give you now the particular job ID, the job title, company, location, etc. Okay, and then let's say, and then here we are doing now a const results await pull the query as query, and then including now the user ID as possible. Okay, yeah. Now, and then in case of any errors, then it's going to give you this. Okay, now that's for our first saving now the particular information. Now what about if in case of deleting? In case of deleting now, deleting now our history, because right now if you see here in our controller, we have two kind of functions. The first function is for saving our application, that's the first one, and then the second function is for getting the history. Okay, now we need to be able now to have the ability to delete the history, so that to avoid like congestion of the applied job citizen. So now first we'll be able now to delete. I'm going to include also the same kind of function for delete application. So it's going to be export const delete application, and first be able to delete it, you're going to check two things: the application ID and the Clerk user ID. So that's be able to delete it successfully, and these are just for handling if in case we have none of those. So it's going to say application ID and user ID are required if maybe we have none of those, or we don't have any of those. Yeah, but so first for security purpose, we're going to say here user is going to check, is going to delete only if it belongs to that particular user. So it's going to say delete from job applications where ID is that, and then the Clerk user is that. Okay, and then in case of maybe, let's say, in case of any issue, then it's going to give you a 404 error, and then it's going to say success is going to be false, and then it's going to give you a message of application was not found or it's unauthorized. Okay, and then we're going to include here response.json, so that will be success equals to true, and then the message is going to be application was deleted successfully, and then here we're going to now have the particular error that's going to give you in case of that particular error. Okay, so that's it with the application controller. So there we have three functions for yeah. So I want us now to move to the application routes. So this here in the application routes, we're going to also start by importing now that is the importing express from express, and also importing like the save application, importing the get application, and then the delete application, and all they are coming from controller / application controller. Okay, and then here first we will not save our job application. You're going to say you're going to include now this router.posts that is /app apply, then include now the particular save application. First, to get now the particular job history, you're going to say router.get, then /history. Then for getting, remember you're going to include Clerk user ID. Okay, because in regards to Clerk user ID, gotten automatically. So Clerk user ID, then get application history like that. Then for deleting an application, also we're also going to require now that is going to be the router.delete, then include now the same history, but here we're going to say we're going to need now the user ID and the application ID. Okay, I hope you can remember it. It's very important. Okay, yeah, so that's it in regards to that. Now when we look at our backend, if we come to our index.js, I think we had imported index.js. I think we had imported all of it. So we had imported already like the job routes, yeah, like that. So let's just save the whole of it and see how it's going to be. You can just do Control S. Okay, let's just wait. Okay, here getting an error. Let's look at the job routes. Oh, I had forgotten to include now the particular part for job routes. Yeah, in regards to job routes, let's now include this. So here in the job routes, you're going to import first of all Express from Express, and also we're going to import the get jobs from that particular path, which is controllers slash job controllers. And then you're going now to include also now the particular path, which is router.posts, and then include now the particular slash find, then include now the particular get job, like that. Okay, so that's it. So let's save it and then let's see how it's going to be. Yeah, it's running okay. Okay, the reason that's why right now in our database, I want to show you, I want to explain to you something. The reason that's why you're not getting this, the reason that's why you're not getting this connected to Postgres database is because of one thing. Okay, if you remember, this code here is inside the, okay, this has been imported in the application controller, and then this application controller, what it does, it only accesses the database if a job is saved on the database. And then, okay, and only when a job is saved on the database is when we're going to get here and a message saying like it was connected successfully to the to the backend, okay, or to the database when you save it. Okay, so but right now we're not going to get it. But let's say if in case we didn't include, if maybe we didn't import, or if we didn't use like the database in the application controller and we used it in the index.js, now it will have told us directly if it connects to the database. Okay, but I don't really want that because it's going to give me going to take a little bit of time, so we're just going to use it the way it is. I want us now to move now to our front end. Okay, let's just close all the open tab. You can just press Ctrl W and then close everything. Now I want us now to move to our front end. In the front end, I want you to include now some three or four files. So I hope you had installed like Clerk. Okay, it's very important because you're going to use Clerk. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to include this file known as the middleware.ts. okay, and then here in the .env in the front end, I want you to have this, the next public Clerk publishable key, and this Clerk secret key. Okay, but the only thing you're going to use is the publishable key, because secret you're not going to use it right now. Secret usually is mostly at the back end. Okay, but you can just include all of them, no problem. And yeah, and then after including that, and then I hope you have now this middleware. Right now make the middleware.ts, and then make sure like the middleware.ts is outside the app folder. Okay, now in this app folder I want you to also make another folder known as the components. Okay, and then here in the components you're going to also have two kind of folder. So one of it you're going to name it as the history model.tsx, then the next one you're going to name it as the navbar.tsx. okay, so can you create those ones and then you can continue. Okay, so you can see right now in the history we don't have any, we have nothing. Also in the navbar also the middleware and the layout. So yeah, so what you can do is you can remove everything there, so that you can have everything, so that everything can just be clean. But now I want us to come first of all in this middleware.ts. So in this middleware.ts, the particular code you are going to include there, you're going to find it in Clerk. So after create Clerk, and then if you follow now the docs, you're going to realize now in the middleware.ts there is this code here. There is this code that you need to be having. This one, just going to find it there in Clerk. Okay, after you create Clerk, so this is the whole code. Okay, going to see it there. Okay, so I want us also to include something in the layout, so that be able now to use Clerk appropriately. So I've just removed everything in my layout, and I want us to do this. I want us first of all to import these necessary things, which we're going to look at it later. That is type, and then type metadata, the Clerk provider, the guests, and then the guest mono, then the globals.css. Okay, they are going to include all those particular styles as possible. That is the guest stance, and then the guest mono. You see, those are just styles. Okay, then now we are going to have this other one. Those ones are not very important. And then we have this other one as the export const metadata. Then that is metadata. And then the title is going to be job finder AI. Then the description is going to say find your dream job with AI powered job matching. And then here in the part of the export default function, in the part of the root layer, we're just going to say this one is going to be now the particular part of the children, and then read only. Then the children is going to be react.react node. Now in the part of the return, you're going to include now the particular Clerk provider. Like you're going to cover everything with inside a Clerk, and just include everything here that was previously. Okay, so that's just everything that's going to be there. That's just how everything is going to be here in the layout.tsx. Okay, so what we want us to do is I want us now to make our navbar and our history model, and then you're going to import everything while you are using our page. Okay, that's just how it works. Okay, well, you can make your page and then make the navbar and history, but I want us first of all to finish making the navbar and the history model, and then just connect it with the both of them with our page, and to be able to run it successfully. Or if we get any error, we're going to solve it. So here is the history. So here in the history, we're going to import two things. So first of all, we're going to import now the user, the user, also the user button, which is coming from Clerk Next.js, and also here in the you're going to also make sure also you had installed that is Lucid React. Okay, make sure you had installed it. So inside it, you're going to get now these are the logos. The logos you're going to get, which is the briefcase and the login, and then the history. Okay. After having done that, you also want you to have an interface, interface kind of prop. So it's going to be another navbar prop, and then here in the navbar prop, we're going to include now the on history click and on auth click. Okay, so that means like if someone presses the part of the history click or the auth click, then it's going to behave appropriately. Because if you remember, in the navbar we have there we have now the history, and we have the authentication, the Clerk authentication. We have both of them there. So here we're going to also create this function known as the navbar. Then you're going to pass the navbar prop there. And then include now a particular return. So this return is going to be covered by everything. It's going to be covered by something known as the nav tags. Then we're going to have a const is signed in, and then passing also the user from user. Then including here now some particular divs, some particular two divs, like that. And then inside this main div, we're going to have now that our logo. Okay, so this is how our logo looks like. I want you can see it there. This is how our logo looks like. It's just a briefcase, and I've given it a class name of that is width 6, height 6, text to be white. Okay, yeah. So and then you're going to include now here our name. So the name is going to be job finder AI. Then is inside a span is decided as span and has this kind of styles, from text to be 2XL, font to be bold, background gradient to be 2R, then from indigo 600, contrast to purple 600, background clip text, and then text going to be transparent. Okay, so that's how it's going to be. Then after I've done that, I want us also to make here another div. Okay, so this div also is covering, like, is going to contain our sign in and our history. So on the left part of the navbar is the part that contain now the briefcase, and they contain the text job finder AI, and the text and on the right side is where we have now our on click for our authentication, and also we have now our history button. Okay, so after having done that, I want us also not to do the necessary for signing in. That means if the sign in button is pressed, what you want to do is if someone presses the sign in, and if they successfully sign in, want the user first name to be there, and also the user last name, okay, to be there, and also are going to also display their email there. Okay, after they signed in successfully, and they are going to now display now the user button appropriately. Now also here we have now another button for sign in. That means if the user hasn't signed in, they're going to get this message telling them to sign in. But if they signed in, then you're going to now get this particular information that I told you previously. Okay, but if they haven't, then you're going to get that message telling them to sign in as appropriate. Yeah, so that's it with our navbar. I think our navbar is okay. Now let's do our history model, and then after you're through with our history, then I'll finish with our page and then be able to run the application. But you can run it still, but we're going to get still error because you need to be able to make the necessary changes on the page. So here in the history, let's also import now the necessary things from React. Also we're going to import these logos from Lucid React as per that. Also another thing I'm going to say, that will be interface application, and then we're going to do an ID of string, job title, and then the company, location, etc. The interface history model. Interface history model is going to say is open, going to be boolean, on close, void, user ID is string, and then user ID either the string or undefined. Then shortest is going to be message string, typo, info, then success or error, either any of those. Okay, then I'm going to include here now another function for history model, that is for checking the history. So I'm going to include here a variable that is for, first of all, this state here, use state, which is going to be passing also that is the application history, and then set application history to be used state, and then the particular application. Or if it's loading, I'm going to say const loading, and then set loading to use state to be false, like that. And then you're going to say here const fetch history. I was going to use a callback, which is an async. So you're going to say if there is no user ID, it's going to return set loading. If we lack user ID, you're going to say the set loading every time. And if, let's say, if maybe everything goes successfully, and if it's able to fetch, so we're going to first of all use the try cache. So this try is the one that is going to contain the particular data for fetching the particular information. So we're going to say const res, which equals to await fetch, and you're going to include this URL. So this, okay, let me explain to you this part of the URL up to here. This one contains the backend URL where I deployed my backend on render. This is just part of it. Then from this part of the API/application/history, this one is the part of the backend. And then here we have now the user ID. The user ID will be gotten from the front end, yeah, from the Clerk front end as appropriate. Okay, yeah. But here for now, you can also include, you can just have it as HTTP 5000 is still okay. From this point, let me show you. From this point, you can just have it as HTTP 5000 is still okay because you're running it locally. Okay, and then here we're going to also have a cache. So this cache is going to do a console.error, then it's going to be error fetching history, then passing out the particular error, because you need to see like what is the error so as to be able to solve it. And then in regards to, we're going to also have a toastify. We have toastify, that means it's going to give us a toast, and it's going to say in case of any issue is going to fail, say failed to load application history. Then finally that is set load, and to be able now to delete now the particular history, one thing that you're going to need is the user ID, which is very important. Okay, so here is saying const delete from history is an async, and then application string. If there is no user ID, it's going to return. But if in case we get the user ID, so it's going to use this data inside the try. So it's going to be const response to const response, that is a wait fetch, and it's going to be http this. So this one for now I've told you now, just make it as http 5000, no problem. This one here, and then slash API slash applications slash history, and then the user ID is gotten from Clerk. Then the application ID will also be gotten from Clerk, and then method is delete. Okay, yeah. So const data await response.json. If data.success, if in case everything is successful, then it's going to say application was removed from history. Okay, if it fails, it's going to say failed to delete the application. Okay, now if in case of any error, then you're going to get this particular information telling you there has been an error. And then the use effect here that you're going to add is going just to be for fetching now the particular history. So because we need to include now this particular use effect so as to be able to fetch history, you cannot be able to fetch it if we don't include it. So also you're going to, in this return you're going to include here, you're going now to have this necessary div, and inside this div you're going to first of all have inside this one you're going to have now but this particular text saying for our height is going to be application history, and it's going to have this kind of logo saying history there. This kind of logo, let me show you this one. This kind of logo, and it's going to have the text's application history inside there. Okay, and then other than that h2 you're going to have, you're going to also have another button known as the X circle. So let me show you. This is the X circle. So this one is going to appear after, because when you press the history button, there is a pop-up that appears there. So this one is going to appear when that pop-up appears. Okay, yeah. That means you're going to use that. When you press that is when you'll be able to cancel. Is when you'll be able to close that pop-up. Okay, like that. So after I've done that, I want us now to come here. So because they remember, like for the history, they are being gotten from the database, so it's going to need a little bit of loading. So we're going to set here a set of loading. So we're going to say here loading. Here we're going to say like it's loading. If it's loading, then it's going to say like you're going to have now this part of the paragraph which is going to say loading your history. Else is going to just say it's going to show you now the particular application history dot length. It's going to show you that loading your history. Else if maybe it's not going to do that, then it's just going to show you the particular history length. Okay, or the particular history. Okay, yeah. And else if maybe we don't have, if it has finished loading, and maybe if it has no history, it's just going to give you the particular text, no application yet. That means you have not applied yet. Okay, and then it's going to give you and start applying to jobs, and they'll appear here. Okay, so after doing that, what you're going to do here, I want us to, let's say if in case from this point here, this one appears if you have not applied. Okay, but let's say if, but this one here appears if its success is true. Okay, if success is good, it's true. But now let's say if success is true and we have jobs. Okay, we have applications, we have jobs that you have applied to. So what you're going to do, you're going to say application history dot map. So it's going to map throughout the particular results. Then it's going to display those history of the job applications, and then it's going to display them. So we're going to display now the particular app.job title, the app.company, then the app.location as appropriate. Okay, yeah, and then it's going to show you you had applied it on this particular date. Okay, it's going to show you like now the particular date that you had applied to it. Okay, like that. And then like there below it, you're going to get now another text saying view job, and then this, when you press this view job, is using a target blank. That means you're going to be taken to a new tab, and then that new tab is going to contain the job URL, the particular job URL. Okay, yeah. So after doing that, I want us also to have also another thing for deleting now our job history for our trash. So you're going to have a logo for trash here. So this logo for trash is going to, when you press it, you're going to delete it, and it's going to have the style of width 4, height is going to be 4. Okay, so the button, that means on click, is going to delete from history. That means the app ID, and then that means it's going to together now the app ID, and then it's going to have a class name text thread 500. Then hovering is going to be text thread of 700. Okay, so that's it with our history model. Okay, so here is how our page looks like. So what you're going to do is, let us first of all import the use client, because we're using Next.js. Then you're going to use here an export default. So you're going to name it, the name our function as job finder app. Okay, because this is the main part of the app. Okay, so after having done that, I want us to use some of the imports that you're going to import. For example, you're going to import useState, because you're going to have like some states here that you're going to be using. Also, you're going to use Clerk, so you need to import like the user, the sign in and the sign up button, very important. Also, these logos are importing from Lucid React. And also the other thing, the two of the things we're going to import is the navbar and the history that we had made earlier. Okay, so after having done that, also want us to do here in regards to the interface of the job. So we're going to have a title, which is title of the job, which is going to be a string, and then the company, which is going to be a string, and the location string, and then the URL is going to be a string. Okay, so if you think about, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about strings, like you need like to go and learn JavaScript a little bit, and then you'll be able to know what I'm talking about. Now here also you're going to use this. So we're going to say here to toast type is going to be info, success, or error. So interface toast data is going to be message string, and then type toast type. That means that here what you're talking here is in regards to the toastify, because as you can remember, like if you are able to create now the particular, if you are able to save or get the particular job, we usually, like in our application, we used to get like the toastify, the React toastify, telling us that we've been able to do that particular thing successfully. So that's what we are doing here in regards to toastify. So we're going to make here a function for toastify. So so here we're going to say like this is going to say const toast, and then passing now the particular message, which is a empty string as per now. Then the type is going to be info on close. Then it's going to be include now the message string, type is toast type, and then the on close. And then the success is going to be the check circle, and then class name of it, the width to be 5, height to be 5, and then the error is going to be x circle. The class name is going to be width 5, height 5. Still the same also for the info. Okay, now here also we need now to create now the particular const colors for our toasts. So in regards, in case you get success, then it's going to use that color. If you get an error, then it's going to be that, and also for the info is going to be that. Okay, now here I want us now to create now the particular return. So return, this is just a return for the toast, for the toast. Okay, So in this return, we're going to include now this particular part of the div. Then this div has two things. So we have first of all this icon, okay, and also you have this part of the message, but the paragraph of the message, and also you have the X circle, okay. So after we're done with that, now let's come to our function job finder app. So that one was just for the toasts. So in this job finder app, so these are the things we're going to be using here in our job finder app. So the same thing, so almost the same thing. You have the so it's going to be here. So this in regards to the state. So you have the is signed in. Also you have the user. Also you have the profession, set profession, and then you have the location, set location, the jobs, set jobs, the loading, set loading, the show auth model, then the set show auth model. Also you have the toast and then the set toast. You have the has searched, also this has set has searched. Then lastly you have the show history and the set show history. And then you are going to do a const that is show toasts, which is going to be message, which is string. Type is going to be toasts type, which is info. Then after we include now the set toast to be message type, set timeout. That means after this particular time, then the toastify is going to disappear. After like that, then here we're going to do a const find jobs. That means if so when someone has included now the particular data in our front end and they press the search job, find job, so we're going to first of all check these parameters if they apply or not. So we're going to say if the user is not signed in, we're going to show them a message saying please sign in to search for jobs. That means a user who wasn't signed in cannot be able to search for jobs, so they need first of all to sign in to be able to search for jobs. And then here we're going, if that is, let's say if the user is signed in, then it's going to check this second parameter or second condition, which is going to say like if there is no profession dot trim, if or if there is no location dot trim, I'm going to say like please enter both profession and location. That means if someone has failed to include the profession or has failed to either include the profession or the location, I'm going to tell them that, okay. And then it's going to set loading to be true, and then the set search to be false. Now also here inside this same const find jobs, we're going to have now a try cache, okay. So in this try is the one that, let's say if all those two conditions are like they are false and everything is okay, then it's going to come to this try, and then it's going to try to access now the backend to be able to look for particular jobs using like to access a backend source to get the particular jobs. So this is the same, I know we can remember it. Then you have /API /jobs /find. So that one's the one for the API, API backend, API backend route for accessing our backend. Then the method is going to be post. Headers is going to be content type application /JSON. Okay. Then the body is going to be JSON dot stringify, like that. Then we're going to say here const data is equal to await response.json, and then you're going to say if there is no response.ok, if there is no response.ok, then it's going to show toasts. It's going to show a toastify message, which is say like the data.message, or it's just going to say failed to fetch jobs, okay. Else if there is data.job and there is data.jobs.length, then it's going to show now a success of toastify message of success, and it's going to say like it's found 10 jobs or that particular number of jobs, and then it's going to say success. Yeah, so that means that but for this part of the data.jobs.length, I think it's just going to show like 10 jobs, because as you can remember, like our API, like that Azuna API, we had included it to fetch like particular request, so it was just supposed to fetch like maximum of 10 jobs, okay. So it's going to be 10 jobs by default, but including this, what it does is that it just gives it the autonomy to be able to fetch as many jobs as it wants. Okay, or as maybe if it can be able to fetch maybe 4 jobs and then say found 4 jobs. Okay, if it's a success. Else if that is not true, then it's going to just say it's just going to say no jobs was found for the profession that included in that particular location. Then try different keywords or location. So that's how it is. But in case if is false, then it's going to show you the particular cache, which is error, which is going to say network error, please check your connection. Finally, it's going to set loading. Finally, we need to set loading to be false. Then set has search to be true. Okay, yeah. So that's one just for preventing like yeah. And then also that one was for applying for the part of fetching the particular jobs. Okay, that was just for finding particular jobs. Now we need also to include now here another function for handling now the job apply. So this part of the handling job apply is for our history section. So it's going to be the same. This one is just going to be checking if the user is signed in or not, to be able to check the history. If you haven't signed in, you're going to be, if you want to check the history and you haven't signed in, you're going to be required to sign in. Then as you can see here, you're just using the same try cache. So you can see the same try, which has the fetch. Then you have the post, method is post, then the headers, the body. You can see everything is just the same. The Clerk user ID, the user email, the body title, company, location, the job URL. Okay, and then if it's success, then it's going to say if data.success, going to show autosify or application was saved, then redirect to job. Okay, and then it's going to open another window, another tab, so as to show you now the particular job that was you had saved, that you had pressed apply. Okay, then if in case that is false, then it's going to just give you it's going to use the part of the cache, which is going to tell you like error saving the application. Yeah, so we're going to include here now our return. So in this return, you're going to include 2 things. We're going to include our navbar. So this navbar is going to contain 2 things. So first of all, it's going to contain the on history click, okay, which when pressed needs to show us the show history, and it's going to also contain the on auth click, which when pressed needs to show us now the set show auth. Okay, yeah. And the reason I'm including this part of the toast just for reactosify. I think that one you know the reason. Yeah, so just for reactosify. And then I want us now also to do this. I want us now to be able to handle the key press. Okay, in case of any key press for finding jobs. So like that. So I want us also to use now the particular part of the show auth model. So that means that if show auth model and show auth model and is not signed in, then to be able to do this, it's going to do this. So that means it's going to have this part of have this part of the login. Going to have this part of the login logo, and then the height is going to be welcome to job finder AI, and then the paragraph is going to be sign in to start your job search journey. Yeah, so but in case of that, means if you have been able to sign in, then you're going to see this part here, this part here up to here. That if you have been able to sign in, but if you haven't been able to sign in, then you're going to see either this button for sign in button. You're going to see this sign in with Clerk. Yeah, you're going to see that one, sign in with Clerk, or you're going to see this part of the sign up with Clerk. So you're going to see the text register, or you're going to see the text sign in with the Clerk, and when you press it, you can be able to sign in. Okay, but if you have been able to sign in, then you're going to see this login icon. Then you're going to say welcome to find you. We're going to see now this other message here. Okay, also you're going to see these 2 messages here, and then you can be able to pick the one as appropriate. and then this part of the maybe later. So this one was for just the card that will appear. That means if you press the part of the history or the navbar and you haven't signed in, you're going to see the particular that card that you are seeing, and then it's going to have that particular information for telling someone to sign in or not. Yeah, and then you have now this part of the history for showing history. So here for showing history, here we're going to say like is open, show history, and then on close that will be set show history. The user ID is going to be user ID, and then the show toast as appropriate, like that. Okay. Also here we're going to now have this main. So inside this main you're going to have a paragraph. So this paragraph is going to contain two things. So it's going to contain, first of all, it's going to contain this discover 1,000 opportunities tailored to your skills, and also you're going to have this H1. This H1 is going to have this text, find your dream job. Then below it you need now to have that particular part of the search. Okay, so we're going to also include now this other div, and inside this div we're going to have this input. This input was done for the search, as you can remember. But this one is for searching now, either for searching either the placeholder is job title or the profession. Yeah, so that's the input that we're going to have there, and then it's going to have now the logos that is going to be there is going to be briefcase. Yeah, and then we'll need another input. So the first one, this first input was for profession. Then this other input that you're going to need here is for location, the location. I hope you can remember it. And then it's going to also have this this logo for mapping, like that. Okay, so after being able now to do that, we'll need also to include here a button. So that means when you include now the particular location and the profession, and then when you press it, you're going to find this thing telling you like load searching or finding jobs, or it's going to tell you loading. Okay, as appropriate. Yeah, so and then here below it you're going to have now another div that is going to handle the particular part of the loading. Okay, but let's say here if it in case if maybe if it's loading, and if it gets now the particular job, it's going to display now the particular jobs, or it's going to give you an error. Yeah, but let's assume that everything is okay based on our based on this jobs.length. So it's going to use a .maps to be able now to access like all of them. So in accessing all of them, it's going to first of all include a job title, the job company, and also the job location as appropriate. Okay, in its map. Okay, and then below it, you're going to also have not below it, like on the sides of that job applying, you're going to also have another text saying apply now. And when you press this apply now, you're going now to be taken to that particular job, to be, so that you can be able to apply. Okay, so when you press that apply now, which is an on click, you're going to be taken to that particular part of the handling apply for the particular job. Okay, I hope you can remember it. Let me show you here. You can remember it from here, handle apply. Okay, and this part of the handle apply, that's what is going to happen there. Okay, when you press that apply. Okay, so after I've been able not to do that, let's say if in case you get any error, if maybe let's say if it's not loading and as such, and maybe it hasn't found any kind of job, so you're going to get something telling you no jobs was found, and then or maybe you cannot be able to find that particular job, and then you'll be able to be required now to include a particular profession or location as per your need. Okay, yeah, so that's how it is. And yeah, I think from that point we've been able to do everything. Yeah, so we'll be able not to include we'll be able not to include everything for that part. And then now let's now include now our particular footer. This is the footer. The footer of course is just going to be very simple. It's going to just have one line kind of text saying that, and then yeah, and then now let's include now our particular global styles for this part of the page. So this is the styles that we're going to include. So yeah, so that is keyframes is going to be slide in, then from transform translate x 100 to transform translate x 100, then animate is going to be slide in. Yeah, so after doing that, let me now you can just save it and then do npm run dev. So after saving it, this is what I'm saying. So let me try to run it. Let me now try to see what my front end says. Now looks like, you can see like everything looks okay. And then let's try now to log in and see how everything is going to behave. Yeah, like the login works perfectly. Now let's try now to include now the particular input so as to know if it's working or not. And then when you press there, 1 second, then let's see. Okay, so everything looks okay. You can see there are the jobs, you can see them. So everything looks like it's working as required. Yeah, it looks okay. And then there is another thing I want us to check or to look at. Okay, when you press that, we are supposed to be redirected to another particular page where like that particular job information is. Now let's see here. Yeah, you can see here is the particular job that we've been redirected to. So that one works okay as expected. Yeah, now I want us now to look at our history and see if that particular information has been saved to our history. 1 second as it's loading. Yeah, you can see now those particular information is there as required, and you can be able to delete it as necessary. Yeah, so everything looks okay in regards to how the web app right now works. What I want us now to do, I want us now to deploy it. So if you come to GitHub, open your GitHub, and then first you're going to make now a new repository in GitHub. So let me make the new repository, and then we're going to make first of all the new repository of the repository, and then push it to GitHub, then from GitHub, and then deploy it. So but remember, like, it's not a must for you to use GitHub. You can use like any one that you want, like maybe even the Git basket or the GitLab. It just depends on you. First, to deploy it, after making that particular repository, you're going to just paste this information there in the terminal or the CMD, but make sure you are in the right path. Okay, yeah. So and then after pasting it, let's just wait some seconds so that it can be one out to upload the necessary information. Now just after deploying it successfully, I want us now to see if everything is going to work okay. So let me see. So you can see here we have now our backend and also the folder that contains our front end. So everything looks okay. So the only thing you're going to do right now is you're going to now deploy it on the front end. So let's come to the front end, and then write to Vercel. We're going to use Vercel for deploying our front end, and then in the backend we're going to be using render for deploying our backend. Yeah, so this is how it is. Let me now try to log in as appropriate. But before that, let me open render again for so that they can be side by side. So let me try to log in on all of them. Okay, so that's how it looks at render. So remember, render is just for backend. Okay. One second. So after you've done that, now when we come to our backend, pick the particular application, and I'm just going to be focusing on the backend, okay, because not focusing really, we're going to be deploying the backend because we are using render right now, because render is the one that is open. And then you're going to include all the necessary information. And remember that the place that I've written like npm is supposed to be npm install. Okay, so make sure to note that it's supposed to be npm install, not just npm. That was the mistake that I did earlier, and it costed me like a little bit of time before I found out like the issue that I had made. Okay, and then pick the particular tire. First you're going to just pick the free tire first of all, because for us it's just for hobby. But before that, I want us to come to here. There are some things that we need to do. One second. There's something I'm looking for. Yeah, this is part of the .env. Like, let's copy this .env for the backend, the whole information in the .env, or if you included it in the .env.local, then copy the whole of it and then come to the .env part and then paste it there. Because like, remember, let's say if you're running a backend, and then like this backend depends on the information in the .env. If it's absent and you're not included it, then if you try to run, then you're going to get an issue. Okay. Also, it works the same also for the front end part. So for now, let's run it and then see how it's going to run. But you're going to get an issue, because do you remember like the other time I told you, like where I had written npm, it was supposed to be npm install. Okay, but now let's return to Vercel. I want us to focus on Vercel because the front end is going to be much quicker, and then when we finish the front end, then we'll focus on the back end, which may take some time. Okay, so let's do the same for Vercel. Here it is. If you are new, then let's pick the best, not really the best, the particular web app. Let's pick it, and then as necessary. Yeah, so 1 second. Okay, so after I've done that, now make sure like to give that domain name make sure to give it the domain name an appropriate name. Or you can just leave it the way it is currently. If you leave it the way it is currently, then there is no issue with that, because there's no issue with that, then everything is just going to still be okay. Now let's pick now the front end and then deploy it. But also make sure like to include also the necessary .env in the front end, just the same way that we did for the back end. Okay. And then after you've done it, make sure to deploy it. and then let's wait some few seconds for it to be deployed successfully. Or if in case we get any error, we might solve it. So let's say during deployment, what usually causes a lot of error is sometimes deployment. So in case if you stumble across any error, you can just come to the YouTube description and then paste your question. But I usually encourage someone to paste it in our Discord. Okay, I usually encourage someone to paste it in the Discord, because in the Discord then you'll be able to get assistance from anyone. You can see now our frontend has been deployed successfully. You can see. So in the Discord, when you input your particular issue, then it will be very much easy for someone to assist you, because I may not be maybe available, or I may be busy at that time, but someone else may be available and they may be able to assist you. So yeah, but I know if you get any issue, don't just don't be afraid to ask. Okay, so our front end is deployed. Okay, now our backend had some issues, but right now I think it's deployed. Okay, I've solved the particular issue that we had. So the particular issue that we had was just a very small issue in regards to some inputs not being used or something like that. Yeah, so but I've been able to solve it. But also I'm going to put link for the whole of these codes there in the description. I'm also going to put now the links also for all our assets there in the description, and anything that you're going to need. Yeah, so from this point I think we are through with everything. I don't think there is any other thing that you have not done, but everything looks okay. Yeah, so right now I think we are through with everything. Yeah, so we are through. So what you can do is the key takeaways is what you can do is you can add as many features on our current web app as possible, or if maybe there is anything that you want to add, if after adding it you can tag me, then I'll be able to do the necessary. Okay, yeah, you can just tag me on them on the socials. I'm going to put the link for my X, and also for my X there below, and then you can be able to follow me as appropriate. Okay, yeah, so we've been able now to install everything, and then everything looks okay, so we don't have any issue. The backend looks okay, the front end looks okay, and yeah, so let's meet in the next video. Until next time, thank you guys for watching up to this point. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.